This meeting to order at 10 o'clock. We're going to open with an opening prayer by Pastor Gerald Hardesty of Commerce Street Church of Christ. And if you will.
Shall I pray? Heavenly Father, we approach your throne of grace this morning with humbleness and thankfulness of how wonderful you are for us and how thankful we are to have this day, and how that we can gather together to, as these men discuss the business of our county, and we pray that you be with them and help them to turn to your word for the guidance that is needed, and everything that is done is according to your will, and that we all will do what you want us to do in every manner. We are thankful for the time and the service they put in for their duties, and we pray that you watch over all of them, be with our sheriff's department, be with all those first responders, be with our military as they keep us safe. We thank you again for all that you do, but especially for your Son, Jesus Christ, our Savior. We pray all these things through him. Amen.
Thank you very much. And you're certainly welcome to stay and enjoy court with us today. Commissioner Snuggs.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody here today. How are y'all doing?
You told me a agenda.
Good.
Thank y'all.
We have, one person signed up for public comments, and I'm going to wait until that item comes up, Laura, if you don't mind. So, all right, item number 6 is the consent agenda, and the consent agenda includes non-controversial and routine items that the court may act on with one single vote. The judge or a commissioner may pull any item from the consent agenda in order that the court discuss and act upon it individually as part of the regular agenda.
I would like to pull M about the Lindsay Fire Department because I'm on the fire department. Don't want to vote for that.
Okay.
M.
Commissioner Arndt would like to pull item M.
Did you have one?
Can we pull L also?
Commissioner Hollowell would like to pull item L, which is deliberate and consider possible action regarding ratifying the judge's signature and approval of the FY25 Victim Coordinator and Liaison Grant. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda less items L and M.
Commissioner Snuggs makes the motion that we approve the consent agenda with the exception of items L and M. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. The consent agenda with the exception of items L and M passes 5-0. Now then, item L, first of all, Commissioner Hollowell.
I think I've asked this before, but I'm going to ask Shelley again. Did we ever ask if we could pay benefits out of that, or utilize that to pay benefits? And I noticed, is this not an increase over, 2 years ago? We do it every 2 years?
Yes, this is the same as this year's.
It did,
It's
49.5.
the biennium.
Okay.
Since I don't apply for this grant, I don't know that I can answer that question. I can certainly find out.
need us to move on while you, and come back to that one?
Yeah.
Can we move on, Judge, and come back to that one?
Sure. That's item L. You want to just,
Yep, Shelley's doing some research on it.
okay.
That's a nice grant, and obviously, we would like to continue to apply for it. But it would help us if we could utilize it to pay insurance and benefits, because that position is now funded by 2 different grants, and that salary is substantial, so, and we pay benefits on the salary.
Okay, let me know when you want to bring that back up then. Item number M, I understand just because you're on the fire department, is that,
I'm an officer in the fire department, I feel it's a conflict for me to vote on that.
It
since
is for sure 100% a conflict.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve item M.
okay, we have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs, that we approve item M. I'll second that motion, item M on the consent agenda. All in favor?
Can I go back to I just a minute?
Back to I.
Lease termination,
Just a little clarification, yes.
Shelley?
Well, before we do that, item M passes 4-0. We have one abstain. Okay.
Shelley, I got a text. They plan to turn the utilities off at the bank Saturday, and I'm figuring you want to get out in front of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, that
That was just,
Some keys in, talked to Rick, and he said he still doesn't have keys, but
that's what this is about. That's what I was doing, was texting. We'll have the rest of the stuff out by Wednesday. We can hand the keys over then. Okay?
is that all you had on that?
Yeah, it prompted me to let Shelley know so we don't get the utilities turned off.
Okay.
This Saturday?
That's what I understood.
Okay.
And FYI, corporate office may be shutting utilities off Friday or Saturday.
Okay.
Okay? I'm sorry, I should have
That's
caught it.
all right.
I should have caught it first, but
That's okay.
Don't let it happen again.
That concludes the consent agenda. Item number 7, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the approval of the treasurer's monthly report for July 2024. And I'll make the motion that we approve that.
second.
Second, Commissioner Sicking. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 7 passes 5-0. Item number 8, presentation by County Extension Agent Angel New regarding the VG Young Leadership Class for Commissioner Adam Arndt, and update on the other county extension educational programs.
So, yes, my first order of business. So for the past 2 years, Commissioner Arndt has been participating in the Commissioners Court Leadership Academy. This is the 10th class of this. And so just a little background history. For 50 years, the VG Young Institute of County Government, which is part of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, which is the agency I'm representing. They've offered the Commissioners Court Leadership Academy to further enhance professionalism, broaden knowledge, and enrich the experience of county judges and commissioners in Texas. And so this academy involves 4 sessions over a 2-year period, and Commissioner Arndt has completed that Leadership Academy. So I am here to present him with his framed plaque certificate. So.
It's a great class. Judge Brinkley was class number 7, and I was class number 9.
again also. Just a second, just turn on my phone. You're an Aggie. There he is. Come on, phone, wait that. Adam's an Aggie. Okay. 1, 2, 3. We're good. Thank you.
2 years flew by.
Okay, and then the second part of the agenda that I'm addressing is just a little update on some activities going on that have been going on in the Extension Office and will be going on in the future in the Extension Office. So I'm going to be speaking specifically today regarding the AG and the FCH programs. Phyllis will be speaking in October. She's here, but she will be speaking in October during National 4-H Week, specifically about the 4-H program at that time. So we don't want to tie up too much of your time. And so just a little update since September 1st, so we operate on an academic year from September 1st to August 31st, but since September 31st, the Extension Office has had 302 educational events with a total of almost 9,000 participants in those events. Back during May, well, let me go back a little before that. So with our agricultural program, we have been without an agricultural agent for about 15 months. Dr. Miller is in the process of interviewing currently, and hopefully that position will be filled soon. But in the interim, we have been active in answering questions as they come in, thanks to the help of neighboring counties and our state specialists that have been there to support us through that. Lots of soil samples done, completed, lots of questions answered. It's not the same as having an agricultural agent in the office, but we have been filling the gap as best we can. With the FCH program, during the past year, my program has focused on healthy meal planning, specifically healthy meal preparation in response to health such as diabetes, hypertension, and just overall healthy eating in general. We've had multiple programs regarding those topics. And then also food preservation. Food preservation is always a big topic in our office. And so we've had multiple food preservation workshops that are well attended. I have also been working with a local daycare with a new program called Healthy Texas Building Blocks, where we go into daycare center, work with that center to identify their healthy teaching behaviors, healthy habits, increasing fruits and vegetable consumption. Toddlers and preschoolers aren't always the best about eating their vegetables, so we're trying to introduce those. We do those in different ways. One of those programs we do with them is called Learn, Grow, Eat, Go, early childhood. And so research has shown if the children grow it, they're more likely to eat it. And so we work on gardening programs with preschool. They're learning about parts of the plant, where the food comes from. And then we've also, in conjunction with that, offered a parent program called Kids in the Kitchen, where the parents come and the kids help prepare food for the parents to show that they're never too young to help in the kitchen. So that has been a great program. So back during May, we did hold our Texas Community Futures Forum, which the public was invited to. We asked, the participants were there, is what are the top issues facing Cooke County that we can address. And some of the top issues that came out of that is a need for urban agriculture with people moving in from more urban areas. There's a lack of understanding about agriculture, and so doing some programming in urban agriculture. Another issue that came up related to FCH, or Family Community Health, is aging, having access to reliable and accurate information. And then the third issue that came up was homesteading, which is having a more sustainable way to feed families, including gardening, food preservation, kind of back to the more natural way of getting our food. And so starting in September, our program is going to continue focusing on healthy meal planning, growing that Healthy Texas Building Blocks program with additional child care centers. And then we are going to start addressing more safe food preservation methods. There's many posts on social media in the news that aren't exactly the safest process. If you do preserve your food that way, it could be very dangerous for your family to consume it. And so trying to combat some of those myths that are out there. I get numerous calls in my office asking if things are safe, and usually what they're asking, they're not safe. And so educating the public regarding food preservation methods. And then also offering financial budgeting and consumer fraud programs, because there's a great need right now for people to manage their money more efficiently. So that is where the FCH program will be going. And in our ag program, we'll hopefully have a new agricultural agent position soon. So, do y'all have any questions for me? Okay. Thank you.
Angel. Received. Otherwise, item 8 is no action other than the acceptance of the awards for Adam. Item number 9, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the approval of a preliminary plat for Wags Ranch, a proposed 2-lot subdivision on County Road 155, Whitesboro, Cooke County, Texas. Commissioner Hollowell.
That one's pretty simple. As it states, it's a 2-lot subdivision. Both are accessible off of 155. Everything, as far as I know, Kathy, is good. Okay, I'd make the motion we approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Hollowell.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Item number 9 passes 5-0. Item number 10, deliberate and consider possible action regarding accepting the resignation of James Reed from the Lake Ray Roberts Planning and Zoning Commission and the appointment of Gary Yost to serve the remainder of the term. Commissioner Snuggs.
Real simple deal here. Mr. Reed.
To speak to it, public comments.
Do we have?
We have one speaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you can do it now or
That's what you
after.
want. You want to hear that first?
Yeah, I didn't know there was.
Good morning, Laura McMullen. I know I saw y'all's faces like that poor girl thinks we're talking about wine and weddings again. What is she doing here? So I just wanted to make a public comment that I am in support of item number 10. I think that Mr. Yost would make a great addition back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for the Lake Ray Roberts area. I feel like he is highly qualified. He has shown just in my short time of knowing him that he will follow rules, laws, and update these as we grow as a community, and I feel like he will do a fantastic job. And also I wanted to send each of you a letter, but with time I haven't, but to thank you for your diligence at the last Commissioner's Court. Thank you, Commissioner Snuggs, for doing your homework as far as following rules, laws, regulations, and for you guys listening to his guidance and to making decisions that were based on rights, laws, and not just emotions or opinions from either side. You guys really did your homework. I appreciate that, and I just wanted to thank you guys publicly, and that hopefully those parameters can also be updated as we move forward, because I know that this is the AVA area and there's other wineries in this county already, and I think there's more to come. So thank you for what you did and for making decisions based on laws. So thank y'all.
Okay. As I was saying, it's real simple. Mr. Reed resigned for personal reasons, and over the last year, Gary served for 8 years prior on the P&Z, or maybe 7, and he left for go spend more time with his daughter, and he said he's got the time now. He's semi-retired and would like to be back on. And many meetings over the last year with him. He wants to make sure we get back to the preliminary meetings with everybody that, it's kind of been lost since he's been gone. I think he'll be a great addition back onto that board and get the processes back aligned. And me and you spoke about that, and we agree. So it's your appointment officially, but I make a motion that we appoint Gary Yost to the Lake Ray Roberts Planning and Zoning Advisory Board.
I'll second that motion. I've known Gary for a number of years, and I think he'd be a definite asset back to the P&Z and fulfill the role that he once played in the P&Z. So looking forward to it. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none.
Do we have to accept his resignation?
Do what? Do what?
He's asking if we should do like a formal acceptance of his resignation. I don't know. Kathy, has that been done in the past?
What do you say?
Do we need to do like a formal accepting of the resignation or anything?
I got no, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he wants to send an email, that's fine.
Yeah.
It could be a
We
formal.
did get it.
I've got it in text.
Yeah, in text, so I think that speaks for itself. So item number 10 passes 5-0.
Judge, we can go back to L on the consent
Okay.
if we would like
All
to.
right.
I think Shelley's got an answer that says we can pay for benefits.
It has to be applied for, it has to be included in the budget when they apply for the grant.
Okay, so
We can get ahead
can
of
we
it.
make a motion to approve it with, I wonder if it needs to be amended to the contract, Shelley? Probably. And do we
You say
play-
It has to be included in the budget, you say?
Not our budget,
Oh, not our budget, okay.
it's my understanding.
Well, it does, but when they apply for the grant, they have to include the fringe benefits when they put the dollar amount they're requesting in.
Yeah.
You
And
wanna
we,
wait until we discuss the budget?
no, I think this is an action that they got to, give me 1 second,
Okay.
Judge. Shelley, do we pay benefits on SB 22 also?
No.
Okay, so that's a moot point.
Yeah.
Okay. I would make a motion that we approve it if the contract reflects that the budget, that the bennies are paid for out of that grant money.
On page 8 of 24, it says, any change to the maximum liability may only be achieved by an amendment to the grant contract pursuant to section 12.3, and any act, action, or representation by either party, their agents, or their employees that purpose to increase the maximum liability, the OAG is void unless a written amendment is in accordance.
We've asked for this before, but I don't think it's ever gotten a contract right. And so we're paying bennies on 49.5.
That's what I was gonna say. So the way it is right now, we're paying the benefits on the additional salaries.
It's a $49,500 grant, but the county's paying benefits on that.
Right. So that needs to be backed up, so the
But it
49.5 covers
Includes
everything.
bennies, is
yeah.
what I would suggest.
We haven't up until this point.
What?
We have never up until this point.
I know, but
Okay.
it's getting to be, it's a substantial amount of money. And that's the reason I was asking, do we pay the bennies on SB 22 also? Because
No,
then
we
it's really
include-
getting to be a substantial amount of money
We included the bennies in that money.
in SB 22, and that's what should be done. Yeah.
Is that something that can be adjusted this year? Do we need to just be ahead of it next year,
Well,
since the contract's already there?
the thing is, we haven't done it over the last 4, 5, 6 years. We've applied several times, but we've not made it a point to request it include benefits. I mean, we need to approve the grant. I don't have any issues with that. And we have approved it in the past without it having the benefits. But again, it's getting to be, it's a pretty good chunk of money for us to be paying benefits on.
The benefits would be probably what, 10 or 12,000 or more on that?
I don't know. Shelley may have a guess. Are you looking for a real number, Shelley? You have a guess? What you thinking? Yeah, and I don't even have a problem, so that we don't prevent some undue hardship on somebody if we postpone it till the next contract, but I suggest that contract doesn't come through again with us paying bennies on it.
This starts September 1st, so you can't.
You can't do it this year.
I'll-
Oh, you can't turn it around, probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Without health insurance, it's $7,860.
So you had health insurance, that's another $1,000. That's $8,000 that grant's costing us. But you said 7,000, right?
But insurance is $15,000.
Well, I said 1,000 a month, basically is what I was saying, which is $12,000.
$22,821.
That's what the benefits is costing us on that contract. So that might be too much, because if we do that, we decrease that back to, that put it in the 30s. Don't want to do that. It doesn't sound like we can get it dealt with this year. I'll retract my motion and see what everybody else thinks.
So you want to retract your motion on
Yes, sir,
L?
please.
Okay.
Yeah. That way we can give it serious consideration for, that 22,000 is half the grant.
Okay.
She said $22,000 on the bennies for 49.
Oh.
That sounds high. Of course, insurance 15.
Well, 8.14 for
Okay.
retirement and 765 for FICA.
Okay, so if we didn't do the, if we didn't do the insurance, it's $8,000 on 49.
Okay, that makes it all right. We're paying the insurance.
Yeah,
A mute issue.
yeah, so,
We don't pay for the insurance through SB 22, just retirement and FICA.
yeah, so that cut it to 41. Grant's 49.5, cut it to 41. And then add SB 22 on top of that. So,
Okay. So as to item number L on the consent agenda, Commissioner Hollowell retracts his previous motion, and therefore there will be no action on item L on the consent agenda.
now, we would need, if we want to do it, Judge, we would still need a motion to approve item L. I just retract my motion to,
I'm getting there.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, once again, the motion to retract item number L, there will be no action on item number L. However, item number L will need to be approved along with the rest of the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Commissioner Snuggs.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none.
I think that we should at least notify the applicants that in the future it needs to include coverage of the health insurance and FICA.
Yeah, I agree. 'Cause I mean, it's a great grant, but then at the same time, it's a budget increase if we don't use the grant amount.
Whose responsibility would that be?
I think probably that'll be county attorney's office.
Okay.
Yep.
She works for the DA.
Oh, DA now, okay, DA.
Okay.
I'm sorry, DA's
You
office.
take it upon yourself then to,
Yeah, I mean, I will, I mean, I'm sure everybody's watching,
yeah,
but I want to be sure that's the court's consensus, and I'm not just out there,
yeah.
you know, I'm the king at upsetting people over salaries whenever I'm trying to work budget issues and try to, you know, take
Yeah, I
a
mean,
conservative approach. I mean, if the
I
court's,
thought I was the king.
oh, no, no, you can't get there, Judge.
Okay, anyway.
I've had more practice.
I don't know, I go back quite a ways. Okay, item number 11 then. We concluded with item number 10. Item number 11 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding allowing county clerk to designate parking spaces for voter parking in the Prosperity Bank back parking lot from October 21st through November 5th, 2024. And I'll make the motion that we allow her to do that.
Which.
How many she wanting, Judge?
All but maybe 4 or 5.
You want all but 4 or 5? That's kind of what, you know.
I know the judge, Brandy's office needs a spot, the constable needs a spot.
Wait a minute, that's a whole different beast from voting.
But they park back there already, so I won't take their spots, that's all I'm saying.
And while we're talking about this voter parking, we still need to mark that one loading zone.
That's gonna be, that spot is for curbside voting. That was already.
But it needs to be marked as a loading zone.
I agree, and during
Because
election, curbside
You're
voting.
moving machines and stuff,
Yeah.
vendors are
I
coming
always
in.
put a cone there when my machines are gonna be
But
delivered and coming,
But your early voting's not gonna be somebody's gonna park there all day.
No,
Y'all know what I'm
that's
talking
just-
about, the single?
That is, during voting, that is only designated for curbside. The only person who can park there is curbside.
I mean,
voting.
even if we need to go in and put another curb stop where it will accommodate a car, but that ought to be for a loading zone. Anybody got any thoughts on that? You know what I'm talking
No, I'm
about?
trying to picture it in my head.
What you're saying, but she's saying that it would be just strictly curbside, you'd have to call in and she'd come out, do the voting, and they'd go on.
I agree, but I'm talking about when voting is not going on.
Right, I agree. It should be.
I mean,
I think that'll change now at the banks.
It hasn't. It hasn't.
Well, they just left.
Well, but it hasn't. I mean, when there's spots available, or when it's full, it's still being
But
used.
it still needs to be marked as a
It
loading
needs to
zone,
be
so
marked as-
people don't just park in there.
That's right. Yeah, that's something we need to task Rick with, I would think. I actually thought, you know, I didn't look at the plans real good before. I actually thought when they corrected that concrete, they was gonna extend that out and take care of that. But, that needs to be a loading zone. And while we're talking about parking, did you make a motion, Judge?
I did not, yes, I
Yes, you
did.
did.
Yes,
Well,
I
we need to
did.
know how many.
Yeah, and I asked how many because it's not the whole parking lot.
I
That's
didn't go out
right.
there and count how many spots there are. I'm just hoping to
There's-
put up maybe 8 of them signs,
Is
maybe
there
8 or 10
15?
signs out there, I
Or
think.
16? Does that sound right?
About
I
four.
don't-
There's 15 or 16, and we talked about it the other day, the JP, the constable,
Brandy's office needs, you need 1 or 2, Brandy? At least
Yeah.
one.
But right now,
who
those aren't
takes your money
designated.
back and forth?
They're not, it just says, it does say no parking there, I think. It's kind of,
There's like 2 spots that says Monday through Friday, and 5, the other says like private parking.
yeah, private parking maybe.
I don't have a problem.
But I'll put them signs up that, you know, and I'm not gonna be able to control it, of course. If people still park there, that's not. And then, of course, that back door will need to be unlocked so they can come in that door.
I think Pam can probably handle the signage and one thing and another as far as it being designated loading zone that day. So that was what my motion was based upon, Pam being able to control all those spots except for 4 spots, basically.
You know, she just wants to control 4 spots.
No, she wants the other spots to be designated for voting.
She wants 4 spots designated for voting. You
No.
want the
No.
whole parking lot designated for voting? Oh.
Well, this is gonna be this will be the only election we have to do this. It is gonna be I figure we'll probably have lines the whole time. Like, the last presidential we did, I mean, it could be different, but we did almost 20,000.
I don't think it's a bad idea for early voting.
I think it's a great idea.
They need,
It's finally our parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people not want to vote early because there's no parking. They'll drive around 3 or 4 times just to get parking, and, you know, I think we need to make it easier for people to vote early. It sure makes it better on election day if I don't got 10 or 15,000 voting on election day and standing in long lines.
So,
Because we don't have any other business going on in that building yet, so I think we can use it for voter parking.
is that a second?
Well, I think we need to specify it in your motion. I mean, see how Pam sees it fit for those 2 weeks, I mean.
Well, I think, you know, this isn't that tough, really. I think that the Prosperity Bank parking should be designated for early voting and voting, which Pam will control as the county clerk, with the exception of 4 spots, which are already being used by the JP and the constable, and we talked about 2 other ones.
Randy's office.
Randy's office, okay. So all the rest of it is to be designated as early voting and voting only, okay? That
Second.
was my motion.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs, go ahead.
You gonna, I guess we're gonna somehow put signage up to control that for the elected officials?
I mean, I'm gonna put a sign up at elected official parks where it says voter parking. I mean, I don't know what we can do about that, but.
Yeah, I just didn't know we were ready yet to designate county official parking back there. Because that's what we're doing. But, you know, when we say, hey, you're gonna use it all, but these 4, 5, or 6, you name these people, well, you got 3 in the JP's office, you got 2 in our office, and we're just gonna take care of 1 office?
But I think those people are using those spots right now
They're
anyways,
using
if they're
right
available, but if
anyway.
they get there and they're taken, that's, you know, they're not
Exactly.
designated Judge Johnson's parking spots.
Somebody parks in their spot that
They lose it.
they
They go-
parking,
Yeah.
voter parking or park somewhere else. I mean, there's gonna be 4 empty spots that aren't voter parking.
It's just like us. I
Right.
park right out here unless somebody's there, then I go park somewhere else.
Which
But
you're
we're not
supposed
quote
to.
unquote designating them to those elected officials
I
at this
am,
point in time.
There's gonna be 4 empty spots that aren't gonna be designated.
Because we start designating to those 4 employees, and you got 15 over there.
Guys,
Okay,
this really isn't that tough.
well, it's not until it is, you know.
I get what you're saying, but for 2 weeks, we can actually have voter parking to
And-
make it easier on people.
And I support that. I'm not supporting
Okay.
designating.
Really, what we're trying to do is to enable the voters to come and vote at will and not have to search for a place to park just so they can go vote. It's also to help Randy and to help Pam, and that's basically what we're doing, okay? And if somebody strays and parks in there where they're not supposed to, I don't suppose we'll have them hauled off or anything like that, but there'll be a stern warning.
We
from
might.
Pam, probably. not
It's
to
marked
do it again.
toy zone.
Yeah, we can. I
Pam
wouldn't-
and Randy are both pretty good about stern warnings, so I'll leave it up to them.
Call
Fair
vote.
enough? Okay, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Motion passes 5-0, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Item number 12, deliberate and consider possible action regarding a burn ban. Richard, you leaving? Hey, I need to talk to you sometime in the future. If you would give me a call. All right. Yeah, it'd be great. See you later. Deliberate and consider possible action regarding a burn ban. And we're going to hear from Ray at this point in time.
Good morning. Ray Fletcher, Emergency Manager and Fire Marshal. I provided you information again this court, similar to last, but it has exacerbated quite a bit. The low KBDI or Keach-Byram drought index in the county is 628. The highest area is 745 for an overall of 700, which is significantly dry, even though we did have a little bit of green from some rains a few weeks ago. But we also have the drought monitor. Of course, this is updates on Thursdays, so we're about halfway through that period, but it does show a portion of the county in moderate drought at this time. And Local Government Code, Chapter 352, Paragraph 081H, provides the opportunity to institute a burn ban if we are in a drought condition or the Commissioners Court feel that we are in a situation that is inherently dangerous enough that we need one. And I would suggest both conditions have been met. And at this time, I would recommend putting on a burn ban, and it goes on for at least 90 days, or it can be rescinded sooner by this body. And I believe there is a copy of the agenda order attached, possibly. Do you have that, or?
Second. He made a motion.
We have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs, to enter in a burn ban not to exceed 90 days. Is that correct?
It has to be reinstituted at
Yes.
the end of 90 days, yes, sir. It can be removed sooner, but.
So, okay, motion, Commissioner Snuggs, second, Commissioner Hollowell. All in favor?
Discussion.
Oh, go ahead.
Is that gonna hurt any of our burning for our pit that we have going?
No, we have the opportunity to provide stipulations or permits for that, and so
Okay.
they will have it in a contained pit, monitored the whole time with a fire, ability to fight a fire down there with a 500-gallon tank. And so in that specific instance, we're okay to do that.
Do we need to specify that or anything?
I just want everybody to understand that
I think they have
the county could still be
Yeah.
burning.
Right.
they have the paperwork to.
And,
do that.
Yeah.
and there is a stipulation, if somebody absolutely positively has to burn for a reason, a permit can be authorized or issued, but of course they'll need a burn manager and all the plans and everything else to be able to do that. So I wouldn't encourage it. I wouldn't see a really good reason. We have a pretty significant reason with the disaster and the debris management. And that will be only for another few days anyway. So, yes, sir.
I just want the
Yes,
people
sir.
to understand that
Yes, sir.
there still will be a little of that maybe happening,
Right.
but it's through a permit.
And it's very, very much contained and controlled and managed. This does include, as the order says, about outdoor cooking, that the devices of propane, natural gas, or wood, charcoal, as long as it's in a completely enclosed, has a lid, and it needs to be used that way. It has to be on a non-combustible area for 10 feet in all directions, and you have to have at least ability to put out a fire if one does start. It also has restrictions and precautions that welding or hot work people must take. That's also in the order. And so I would encourage everyone out there to make sure. It'll be on the county website here in just a little bit and posted on Facebook, so please pay attention to that. And we'll hope for rain sooner than later. But it's going to take a good soaking multiple inches of rain to get through this, and it's not unusual this time of year that this happens, and hopefully middle of September we'll turn around and be okay.
Every county around us is in a burn ban already.
Yep.
And there have been significant fires in Montague County, Love County. We've just been fortunate.
Good.
All right. We had a motion, we had a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none.
Did y'all have a
Item number
copy of the
12
order there,
passes.
or-
Oh, pardon?
You did have one? I brought one just in case.
Item number 13 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding emergency disaster declaration and all associated executive orders.
Yes, sir, possible. I would like to discuss, we're heavy into the debris collection and disposal right now. Court authorized up to $2 million last court, which would infer a $500,000 match by the county for $1.5 million paid by FEMA is what we expect. It's a 2575 grant. The effort got a good start and has proceeded much quicker the last week as more trucks have arrived. Right now, based on their estimates, if we pick up what remains that we know of and has identified and has been put to the curb of the construction and demolition debris, with all the fees that we see right now, it looks like we're estimating about $1,823,704.95. What the intention, I think, at this point is that they will continue to get those areas that we've identified, the piles that were partially gathered that had been pushed to the curb, and the homeowners are pushing those up to the curb now and doing that. And then everything that has been collected, and they'll finish up hopefully by Thursday this week, getting what's left to be done. And then it'll be another couple of weeks to haul all of that to the landfill and get it properly disposed of. And that number includes everything that we think is out there still that needs to be gotten and has been identified, as well as getting it all to the landfill and dumped and properly disposed of, the monitoring fee and the actual collection fees. So cautiously optimistic that we're going to be under, but I also would like to have Commissioners Arndt and Snuggs go out the end of this week or early next week and make sure we identify any issues that need to be dealt with, or anything other that needs to be done to make sure we get it all finished up appropriately. And we do have representatives from Thompson, the monitoring company, as well as TFR, which is doing the debris itself, if anybody has any questions.
So it's increasing from 1.5 to 1.8? Is that what we're looking at, Ray?
I'm sorry. Go ahead again, please. So on the document I provided you all, that they emailed us, the 1.598,704.95 is what they are estimating the debris hauling and collection, all that total figure they anticipate to be that much, 1.6 almost. And then the monitoring company estimates that their finish out total cost would be 2.25 for a total project cost at the end of estimated around 1.823,704.95.
Which is
So,
200,000, give or take less than what we originally.
170,000
Yeah,
is what's
170,000.
unallocated at this point, again, assuming that next week we don't identify things that didn't get done, that wanted to get done, or any other items.
so you're under the 2 million
Right
that
now.
okay. And if they don't anticipate at this point going over 2 million total?
I don't think so, no.
When does, refresh my memory, when does the contract,
Well, the contract is actually in place until December 31st.
okay?
I've always hoped to get it done much, much sooner than that, but that was to allow any weird contingency operations. But right now, the goal is to have, again, all of the debris that has been put to the curb and identified, that will be removed by Wednesday or Thursday this week. And
But
so-
we haven't told people to quit putting it to the curb.
Yes, sir.
I've been warning people for weeks.
Yes.
And then
And it'll
I'm
be
getting flack
reiterated,
this
but-
morning, but I drew the line this morning. I said, if it hadn't been at the curb now, you're not getting picked up.
And I put it out either late the week before or early last week that if it's not at the curb right now, we're gonna get what's to the curb, and then we're gonna get the rest of that pile, you know, if it extends beyond, and they've pushed those all up to the curb now at this point.
One of my early social media information posts said if it wasn't out by the 31st of July, that you know, I kind of drew the line in the sand right then.
I've been telling people that you'd be glad to come down there and help them if they weren't able to.
Can I borrow your pickup?
Yeah.
So we're gonna be within our 2 million estimate. You don't need,
At this point, there's no need for more. And we hope that it will be less, but I don't anticipate it being any more.
But they do know to
We'll get a
jerk the
daily.
reins at 2 million no matter what, right?
Right, yes. And then we will get every morning, there'll be an email with where they anticipate we are at today.
Right.
So we can daily track that.
Is this,
including the monitor.
Yes, sir.
The two are getting together, we're keeping our number.
Right,
is this our representatives back here?
yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for what you guys are doing, appreciate it.
So fortunately, just an update. But yeah, we anticipate having everything that's out there and has pre-identified and been placed, finishing that all up late this week. And then there'll be a couple of trucks left to go back through as any alibis, any other things that we didn't anticipate that are out there that we didn't know about or you see that you want to deal with. And then the hauling will continue for weeks after that, compacting and hauling it to Tasman from the site.
Yeah, so they haven't even started hauling to the Tazewell yet?
Yes.
Oh, they have, okay. I want to see those trucks. I haven't seen that yet.
So, yeah, and I would ask that you go down there and take a look
No, yeah,
as soon as you
I'll
can.
leave there
It's
as soon as we're
an
done.
amazing process and a huge mound of debris.
Yeah, we're down there every Thursday delivering meals, and it's a marked difference now as to what it was, so
If-
already looks a lot better.
And I would say that if we wouldn't have been willing to chip in our money to match this FEMA grant, I don't know if it would have got cleaned up, but over the next 20 years probably. I mean,
I agree.
it was worth us
Yeah.
chipping in to do this because it made a drastic difference.
It sure did.
Now, people are going to be upset. They're still going to be responsible for some, but we can't make everybody happy. And as much as I tried, it's not going to happen.
That's because legally you can't.
Yeah, legally we can,
Yeah.
but, you know,
It's not because you're not
We
putting
can't-
forth the best effort.
you know, this is a substantial investment from the county to get this far. That, you know, I hope that people, you know, even the mad people, they do appreciate the effort that we have made.
And there will be some vegetative piles that are still out there that we're gonna need to go get. That's not part of this because that money's been reserved for C&D for the construction demolition debris. But as in the past, either they can pull it up on their property and burn it appropriately, or we'll have to discuss how that gets done over the next months.
Yeah.
Hey, Phyllis. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Unless there's any other questions. And I'd be happy to take the burn ban order and get that squared away.
I'm gonna scan it, and see it, and then I'll do it to you. But you need it right now? I'm supposed to seal when I see it. Yeah. We still have everything else in it.
Do you need anything else on 13? Yeah. We did vote?
On 13 was just an update.
Yeah. So there's just no action then?
Right.
Yeah.
Update, no
Okay.
action.
Item number 14, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the optional county fees with Texas Department of Motor Vehicles for calendar year 2025. Well, it says me, but I'll bet it's not me. I bet it's
No, Randy Carr, tax assessor collector. This is just the yearly thing to see if you are going to up or take away any county road and bridge or child safety fee.
Where are we now, as far as like the county bridge fee? It says may not exceed 10, or we?
We're at $10, and then we're at $1 for the child safety fee.
And that's the two we're in question.
Yes.
Child safety fee is what we use for,
The crosswalk.
yeah, it's what we use for like CASA and a few others.
That can go up to $1.50.
Can go to. I mean, if 50 cents, is somebody gonna throw a fit about it that we go to that? 'Cause I mean, we use that for a lot of programs that it's intended for.
Yeah.
I don't know where's our fund, pretty stable on that, Shelley?
I think y'all, budget all of it every year.
Yeah. I wonder if there's other stuff out there that's, we're not getting funded because if we.
It's limited to what we can use it for.
Yeah, you can only.
It's limited to what you can
Right,
use
I
it
know,
for.
I mean, I see what it's limited for, but
It's, Casa and Abigail's Arms, that's all you can, other than a crosswalk, and I don't know which school district has a crosswalk.
I don't think any in the unincorporated area has any. That's the reason we've been able to use it for. I make a motion, we leave it as it is at 10 and $1.
Motion, Commissioner Hollowell.
There's gonna be some folks out there that's gonna say it's a tax. It's the only reason I say that, Adam, you know,
well, I mean, it is.
and I don't have heartburn one way or another.
I'll second it.
Second, Commissioner Hart. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
Item number 15 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding the FY25 proposed budget.
Do we,
I'll tell you before we get started, I did misspeak earlier. I told one other person they could get up and say something real quick. Mark, you would?
All right. Yes, last spring I come in and I asked for additional personnel for a reserve. And I was basically told I needed to fire somebody. I didn't fire him, but he did resign. And I know you guys have heard from a lot of people during this budget process. Evidently, I think y'all forgot that I'm down to one, I don't have two, and y'all was under the impression I was asking to get a third one. The funds for my second one has been removed, so I'm here to ask y'all to reinstate that money so I can pick up this second reserve that I advise y'all that has told me that he can work quite a bit most of the time when I need him, and unlike the other two that I had. And so the amount is approximately $750 for all the medical testing and the bond. And both of those have been removed. And I'm asking the court to reinstate those back in so I can add this guy on as a reserve.
So this would be the, just an additional item under your budget under the proposed budget then?
Yes, I had it in my budget and it was removed. And
You're asking.
from my understanding, y'all thought I was going to have, asking for 3 reserves.
How much was that amount?
I'm sorry,
How much was that amount?
$750, that's for medical and plus the bond.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we reinstate the $750 for your second.
I would rather talk about it while we're in the budget, because we're about to go
Okay.
line by
Well, that's
line by
where-
some things. That's my thought.
That's where we're going, that's where we are right now.
Well, yeah, but just a whole bunch of decisions to make, so.
Okay.
Not
I'm
gonna
not saying
take
I'm
no
against
action
it,
on
I'm
it.
just saying that.
We'll discuss it before we're through.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the motion stands, however.
All right.
Just out of curiosity, do we want to go do executive so that people don't have to sit through budgets?
That was gonna be my question, if we've got an executive, just to go ahead and move it before budget.
I mean, you got some folks that may not want to sit through budget. I mean,
Who's that?
well, I don't know if the sheriff's going to sit through it, or executive, or Ed. Ed, are you just here for executive? You here for budget? What do you, I mean, you want, does it benefit you for us to, is there anything that needs to be discussed in executive that may affect budget?
I don't know. I don't have anything executive. What do you have, Ed?
Okay, then I don't,
I just had a couple words about budget
Okay,
before I leave.
that's, so you'd rather go ahead and it would be beneficial to you to go ahead and do budget and then executive later. Okay.
I don't know, we don't need it.
doesn't sound like doesn't sound like we're even going to need executive. I just want
That's
to.
what it's sounding like, so let's just go ahead and continue on with budget then, as we were.
So I think, did Elizabeth email you some information? I don't know if you've,
Yes.
okay, so she provided you some information on dispatchers or communication operators in Grayson County as well as Wise County. Montague County even makes more, but I wasn't going to compare that because it's not apples to apples. Their operators use Senate Bill 22 because they're part jailers. But Gainesville blows us away. And again, I don't want to put numbers there. The sky's the limit because of their STEP program. So I actually see where a communication operator for them could make $90,000. So I don't really want to compare their salaries other than to say they compete for our operators. So, you know, they only dispatch for 2 entities. And here we're dispatching for all law enforcement, about 10 volunteer fires and EMS everywhere in the county, even in the city. So I would ask that you might want to think about, instead of just being a pay raise, that you think of about it as being a salary adjustment to keep up with everybody around us. It's a very difficult job by itself, and then when we have folks making $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 more in surrounding counties, we just can't recruit. So
Are they, of course Grayson's gonna pay more, but like, when you say surrounding counties, if it's several counties away, I don't think that can be factored in because of drive time and fuel and vehicles, but I guess a neighboring county, it's hard when we got Denton and Grayson right next to us with so much more population.
yeah.
It looks like, though, some of them, Wise County, some of those, they're not having to travel, and they're still making good money.
A lot of our operators are traveling. They're traveling now, you know. We got 2 of them that travel out of Oklahoma.
Traveling to us.
Yes. And she also, there was some confusion, I think, about my overall budget, and because there were a couple of more things in there. One of them was the civil deputy being upgraded to a sergeant level. That position does advanced investigations and courthouse sales for tax properties, and it's a higher level than just a deputy pay. And then we wanted to add 2 positions in, 2 FTOs, positions in the jail, so that each shift would have FTOs, 2 FTOs. And by the way, we are almost full, knock on wood, in the jail. It has been a challenge. We had about 11 vacancies starting the fiscal year, and we were down to, well, if everybody in the hiring process passed, we would be full, and therefore the need for FTO positions. There again, I just, my main target was those communication operator salaries. We should have adjusted them a couple of years ago. I just can't tell you how important that is, and I think that I don't have to tell you, but most people would say that the primary mission of government is the health, safety, and security of our citizens. And that communication operator is the #1 person, the first responder to receive that call for help. So. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions? And Pam, if you have parking issues, once the signs are posted, if you would let Daniel or one of our patrol officers here at the courthouse know, let us handle it, and instead of having your staff maybe confront someone, so we'd be glad to do it.
And while it's on my mind, Daniel texted me, and it'd be great to do a press release when we get closer, so let's all keep that on our mind.
Signs on the front that says parking in the rear for voters.
I think it will really help encourage early voting if they know
I
they
do
have
too.
the spot, which, like you said, will make election day go way better for everybody.
Commissioner Arndt, just to go back to the child safety fee on registrations, vehicle registrations. We collected $50,824 in fiscal year '23.
Okay. We don't have 24, yeah, okay, we won't have 24 yet, okay.
We would
And
collect
then we
another
split that.
25,000 if we went up 50.
Maybe we'll look at going up maybe a nickel next year, or half of that,
Quarter,
a quarter, yeah. I think there's some more programs out there that we could,
Well, actually, we're not funding those completely. I
Right.
mean, we could add to the 2 that were already funded.
right.
Well, the money we get from the capital credits,
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
but that, I think that can only go to the Child Advocacy Center.
but it's still offsetting general fund dollars, so we're probably doing all right to leave it where it is, maybe.
And we haven't received our amount for this year yet.
I don't know where y'all, Shelley, you've got some stuff, I guess, that you want to talk about on budget, right? Some stuff you've had to change.
So precinct one's, Constable Precinct One's request would be $899.
Well, and he had 535 is what he had in there, 200 for ammo, but we didn't, I don't think we ever told him he had to terminate one to get one. So,
Well, his original budget request was for 3.
yeah, so, but I mean, that's one we discussed and voted on. I mean, we can revisit it, but
I think
Well, we
it's
took
clear
it
enough.
out.
we took it out. We discussed it, took it out, and voted on it.
Yeah.
Took it out.
So the 535, he says is for medical, drug test, and psych test.
Yeah.
And then his bond, he'll have to have a bond for his swearing in January. It's $178. And for 2 reserves, it's $93 each for a 2-year bond. So that's $899.
Do that again for me. The bond, for 2 reserves, it's 93?
Each.
Oh, and his bond, okay, so,
I mean, we have to budget for his bond anyway.
Then you gotta do a physical probably on them.
oh, he's got to do a physical and psych, and he's put that in there.
Yeah.
But, you know, what we talked about is the fact that he and Chuck could share some stuff, if he gets to buy, sheriff's office can help him. I mean, I don't, if you guys want to go do that, that's, but
It's the onboarding that costs more than the recurring, right?
well, until you start adding ammo and uniforms and stuff of that
We
nature.
don't supply them uniforms though, do we?
Yeah, if he wears one, you do. So,
The only thing I have, and it, again, I guess pertains to salaries, is I put $2,000 in HR's budget for testing for bilingual, and it wouldn't discuss whether we would give a bilingual stipend or not. So if you're not going to do that, I need to remove $2,000 from HR's budget.
I think that's an asset to have somebody bilingual.
Well, but, I mean, that's just the testing part, but that's not the stipends. I think-
It's that to test, really?
For, yeah,
To give them a legitimate test?
yeah, it's a computer program, so it's the subscription or whatever you call it.
And then how many employees would we, if one office has got 3, you're going to pay 3 stipends?
Well, the only office that asked for it was the tax office. But-
Last year, I lost that employee. Now my employee, I don't know that she does speak Spanish, but she doesn't really like to do it. She don't feel like she's fluent, so she may not even pass that test.
How many employees do we already have that are truly bilingual? Do we know?
I don't know that.
Because used to, back in the day, we used to, as well, let's say as a JP, if I needed an interpreter, who was it that worked at 4-H or the Ag? You remember Pam?
Dee Dee Martin.
Dee Dee Martin used to, and what I'm thinking of, if we had anyone already employed,
Interpreters have to be certified.
right, understand. But anybody that's already employed and we paid them a stipend they wouldn't be there just for one office, they would be there, if we had 2 or 3 of them maybe that could go to any office and interpret if necessary, like district court or anywhere, as far as that goes.
Well, they couldn't go to district court because they wouldn't be certified.
Okay,
They couldn't go to any court because they wouldn't be certified.
just a thought though, I mean, we used to already have it in-house where we didn't have to get a separate 2 or 3 people to be our interpreters. And
Well, I
the
think-
availability was always much better that way too.
I think it's more of the just everyday transactions,
Sure.
not interpretations.
And then we talked about with one, and we would like to think one elected official would let them run over to the other office and interpret if they needed to, but they wouldn't have to. And especially if they've got a Spanish.
That's what my employee, I used to have 3 actually, and two of them were asking for a stipend, but both of them quit, but they were mad because other offices were coming in there. So last year when y'all denied my request, y'all said that the other offices couldn't use her anymore. She couldn't go up to court anymore. Which they have in emergencies. There's been times that County Court of Law will have an emergency and they need somebody right then.
And we said that they
run up
couldn't do
there.
that?
But she wouldn't get paid any extra or anything.
Yeah, but we didn't say she couldn't do it.
I don't remember that.
Couldn't believe we said she couldn't do it.
What y'all said was not to really put out there that the other offices shouldn't be sending people to my office just so she could interpret for a different office is what it was. Because it really wasn't right for my employee to be doing all this extra work and not getting no stipend. That's what y'all had said.
Well, and one
But-
issue.
But if that person was getting a stipend and they were there specifically to lend a hand,
Yeah, I think she would do that then.
Yeah.
She would probably, if that's, like Shelley says, I don't know if it's legal, if they can even do that in court. I didn't know they needed to be certified. If they do, they should be. Which now my only employee don't really want to do that anyway.
Well,
But
what
I'm sure
happens,
she'd
though,
like
if
a
she has
stipend, but-
if she has someone fluent in Spanish and she's getting paid, and Brandy's got one that's fluent in Spanish that's not getting paid, and
Oh, yeah.
so,
Well, yeah, you'd have to
they-
do all
so then we got the one not getting paid, doing it for free, or they're going over and getting Pam's and doing it further up. I just,
thought, you say extra work, I mean, they're working 40 hours, no matter what.
I know, that's kind of how.
I mean, whether you're
Still-
doing A or B, you're still working 40 hours, I mean. Not like it's extra, you just have to speak a different language, which, I mean, I understand the stipend and stuff, but that's a good point from Gary is,
The big counties do it, the big counties
Yeah.
pay, they make more money just because.
They got more money.
HR estimates 35 bilingual employees, $1,000 a year stipend would be $40,565.
because see, you're gonna do the same thing. If you got people at the sheriff's office, you're gonna pay it, you know. I mean, it can
Add up.
it can grow on us.
well, it can add up, but what if you only had like 3 or 4 of them?
But it's the other 20 that say, well, I do it all the time. I'm talking to someone that I pull them over on the road.
Yeah.
I want a
You
stipend.
can't,
You gotta,
you have to be fair, you can't just single out one.
You'd have to do it to everybody that's bilingual, and that's, you know, however many
they'd have to
employees
pass
she
the
said.
test. Correct?
Oh, but how many of them you think can't pass the test?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
truly bilingual. I mean, second
I-
language or maybe primary
I'm
language.
bilingual, but,
I am too, up to a point.
I mean, I can get my point across.
Well, we don't have too many Korean requests for Korean. I
I
could
think it's
speak
mostly
to-
Spanish.
Yeah.
We had a couple trying to get married that was, it was a different language, and we kept having to turn them down. We don't have an interpreter for that, and they were mad. They thought we should supply an interpreter for them. It was a weird language.
Can we buy a program on our computer?
I started, isn't there an app on the
Well, that's what
phone?
they wanted to use their phone, but I'm not doing a marriage license, and what if they're not answering the question right? Because they're not understanding that question, so we don't have to supply.
I mean, I would do that in the back of the
Yeah,
ambulance.
we tell them they have
I'd
to bring
get
in
on
an
my phone.
interpreter, and they didn't know
I didn't know
anybody.
you were really hurt.
Crazy.
Well, it's a thought. We used to do it and it didn't seem to cause any problems.
Times.
We didn't even pay a stipend, I don't believe.
But on her, she was a contractor. She wasn't employed, right,
Who's
Judge?
Dee Dee?
Yeah, she was just she didn't work for 4-H. She wasn't a county employee that I ever remember, I think. You think
I
she
always
was?
thought she was.
I know she contracted.
That's what I thought. She always
She was a contractor.
contracted, Judge. I don't think she was a county employee.
Well, she was considered a county
She
employee.
did work here in some office. I don't think it was.
She worked over in the ag and the 4-H and
I know she was a big contributor over her, but I didn't know whether she was, for some reason, I didn't think she's
she
an
worked for the
employee.
county, and then she did that, but I can't remember if she worked. I don't think it was.
Okay, what do we want to do? I mean, we want to assume a $40,000 investment in bilingual?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I don't, I'm not thinking that kind of money.
Well, your HR is.
Well,
I mean, you're gonna have to do it across the board.
yes, but I mean, she's just supplying the information.
And I don't mean to say she's saying that, I'm just saying based on, you have to do it across the board.
I don't know that you do.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if they pass the test and everybody goes in and takes the test
You're gonna have to pay it.
and they pass it, they get the stipend.
Well, and if it's 20 of them,
Yeah,
that's $20,000 or whatever.
right.
I would hope.
I don't know, I would think that one or two people, I think the opportunity has been out there to interpret for just about everybody we have, granted without a stipend, but we've had no interest in that other than, well, if you pay me, well, perhaps then.
But as soon as you pay one, word's gonna get out, Judge, and everybody's gonna wanna be paid. It's not like it used to be where people would, actually provide a service and not expect, I mean, it's because it's happening at other agencies. They know that other
Okay,
agencies
so-
are paying people.
So what's the answer then? It's obvious we need interpreters from time to time, so what's the obvious answer then?
We've got people on staff that's getting paid to be here.
They knew that when they.
And I don't think that it would be an imposition on them to ask them to interpret at this point in time. And at some point in time, maybe we can compensate them, but
Like Adam pointed out, they're being paid regardless of what they're doing. They're here 3 hours.
Yeah, and I tell my married couple, they gotta bring in their own interpreter. What you gotta tell them. If you don't have one, if Narita's not here, we don't do their marriage license unless they bring in their own interpreter. So they could do that in any office.
all right.
If you ever need an interpreter, it won't be me.
I don't think any of our employees would turn us down if asked.
I can't imagine. But I get shocked every day.
Yeah. Well, if you do, you go to the next employee that's bilingual. I mean, there's several here, I would think.
So, no action on the interpreter? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right then. I've got one.
Y'all removing that 2,000 and y'all, is that what y'all are saying?
Say again.
No,
I was just saying, y'all are saying to remove the 2,000 out of the budget.
From the HR budget.
What she just said.
Yeah.
For nature.
Okay, I've got one. We haven't, there's still a few things we haven't voted on, I don't think. One of those being an EA position. We're gonna vote an EA position up or down. And it's a pretty important decision to make.
I'd love to have one, but I don't know what we're gonna pay for it at.
I know how we'll pay for it, but you guys don't wanna hear that either.
I thought that pretty much the consensus was let's push it out another year.
What's that?
The EA, push it out another year. I think that was the general consensus.
Well, no, I thought it was push out the bank building for another year. That would make more sense.
But we certainly.
Who knows, somebody might want to come buy it during that year.
And it's not for sale.
I ain't even going into
Yeah,
conversation.
I'm not either. But you had even said,
Push out the
push
EA.
out the
yeah.
EA, as long as we, realize, hey, we need to seriously, think about working towards one.
Okay, but what I'm saying is we never voted on it. What I'd like to do is to discuss the EA again right now and then once and for all vote it up or down.
There was some talk about the entities each being charged for the
That
EA.
personnel.
Well, no, being charged for the EA in essence, we bill back, I don't know what I'm trying to say, like,
They'd reimburse us for something.
yeah. Is there any weight to that? Has that got any teeth to it, to where it's not just on us? We pay for it, obviously, but then we bill back the other entities, so the school district's portion is this much, and
The entities will have to pay the county to run their elections. And then we also get a 10% administration fee on what that cost is. Now, I don't know how that works, if there's an EA, if there's still that administration fee. So they kind of talked about that at our election conference, the counties who had EAs. And if you got an EA and started running all the elections and you could go countywide, that would save the county a lot of money. But you almost need an EA to go countywide. If you went countywide, definitely you'd have half the precincts. So that's half your judges. You'd end up saving a lot of money.
I guess that would be,
I'm not saying the EA would, but it's going to take an EA to have, because you have to have a plan, you have to have a wrote-up plan to send the Secretary of State, and they'll just have time to work on that kind of stuff and figure out which precincts they would use. It's kind of, you have to do not really a survey, but you have to figure out where you would put them precincts. And the EA would just have time to work on that, where I just don't.
I 150% see the need and how it would be good. And we've already know that we can pick up some money from, you would give up an employee.
Right.
And I think
Brandy said she'd give up her employee.
Brandon said you give up employees, so we're really close right there, but then we still need, they're gonna have to have an assistant, and
then
how close-
Pam and
how
them still
close-
gonna have to help in the election time. I don't know what's changed from 2 weeks ago when we discussed it in reality.
Well, I'm just talking through it,
Yeah.
trying to see how close we are.
Well, and then something that, we have enticed the employees or suggested they might get a 3% increase.
And I'm responsible for that, but.
Well, I'm just saying,
Preliminary.
if we're gonna spend money, we wanna give it toward pay increases, or we wanna add to positions. I don't, 'cause
It's a tough one.
and I'm not throwing you under the bus at all.
Oh, no,
I
no,
mean,
no,
we
I'm
all agree.
the one who voted on the budget so we could move forward the other day, and I'm the one who has repeatedly said, I don't know if we can give raises this year, and I still.
And I still think, and I just oversight by not following up, I guess all of us was really trying to get out the other day, but there's still about $115,000 out there in travel we need to go look at cutting about half of. And that would, again, if we're trying to fund something else, that's the things that we need to be looking at, would be a consideration.
So I'm doing right now,
Yeah.
I'm thumbing through the original request, the original everything. Did a little bit of it over the weekend, but I knew we were gonna hit the heavy points.
But, I was thinking we done some of what we done to move through the budget, unless we want to go back and rehash it all, I don't.
Well, okay, I guess what I just don't understand, and never will, is why that building over there that serves no purpose to the county or the people that elected us is such a prize that we can't even discuss, perhaps putting off any work on it for a year, selling it, whatever. The thing is a money pit and always will be. And I know you say, well, you don't understand. It's all tax money, guys, and it all comes from the people that elected us to be here, and it serves them no purpose whatsoever. I don't understand why nobody seems to be able to understand that, I guess.
So is your rationale, Judge, that we approve an EA so that we can postpone expenditures on the Prosperity Bank?
No, my rationale is that we need an EA and that we need to have an EA in this county. I think it's a necessary position in this county. And then you asked me how we're going to pay for it. There's the obvious way we pay for it. It's not so we can get rid of the Prosperity. It's put the Prosperity on moratorium for a year. Don't spend any money on it other than just upkeep, okay? Whatever.
So,
Don't spend money, and I don't care what you say, if you move 5 offices over there, you're gonna spend some money other than general improvement or permanent improvement money, okay? And then what is permanent improvement money? It's tax money, period.
but
Any
it's
way you look at it.
but that money has been put into that fund. It
Okay.
has to be used for that fund. So and I'm not going into this very far.
Okay.
But even if we do spend a little bit of money to move offices that doesn't come out of capital improvement, it's not going to be a whole lot of money. And we will be selling other buildings, part of a master plan. It's a bigger picture. Yes, right now that building is not serving the public, but it is just now being vacated today by the bank. So
Yes.
we're just now here, and we've done a poor job of planning, so we don't even have a plan for it, and I'm embarrassed for that.
But
Well,
if,
and so why don't we wait a year before we,
But what I'm saying is, even if we sold that tomorrow, that money is going back into permanent
Okay.
improvements. You can't use that to fundraisers, and you can't do that. And to me, that's a disservice, because we need to get rid of some other buildings, which is a better decision for the taxpayer.
And more efficient.
Yeah, and I understand, and I agree. I know we need don't do that, Judge. I agree we need an EA, but you're still stuck on that, and
I'm stuck on more than just EA. I'm stuck on 4 or 5 different things. But today is the EA, okay?
and I agree with you. We need an
And-
EA. Tell me where we can cut other things to pay for it. Do you have any ideas?
I just gave you one, and it's not even that doesn't even scratch the surface.
I'm gonna
Right,
make a
it doesn't
motion,
scratch the surface.
I'm gonna make a motion, we not fund the EA this year.
Okay, we have a motion to not fund an EA this year. Do I hear a second?
Well, that's pretty much what we talked about the last one. I was gonna try to put it all on more here, wasn't it?
And it was your idea.
Well,
on
the
that,
problem
Judge.
is, if you put it off another year, this is not the year to put it off another year, okay? This is the year to do it if we're gonna do it, because it's a general election coming up.
But that EA is not gonna be here for that. That's done.
Now, what he's saying is, if you did it now, that EA would come in for next year when she's got a good learning curve, because there's
Right.
not a big election.
That's right.
There's one amendment election next year. The next year, when you are talking about doing it, it's gonna be a primary year, a gubernatorial primary year. She's gonna start in with a big election to start.
This
That's,
would be the year
that's
to
my
do it
only
if we're gonna do
concern.
it.
So you might have to wait 2 years.
But
But
if,
if you wait 2 years, I will not be here to help him.
does everybody else on the court understand, the only way you fund that's out of general fund money? Everybody else understands that, right? Okay. And so,
It's hard, yeah, but our two assistants, right? So it's not just
So,
Correct.
one
I mean,
person.
I get it, it's a lot of money, I get it, because you're gonna have to pay him I say they need to make more than I make.
so here's the way I look
It's
at
a lot
that,
of work.
Judge.
Let me tell you, it's a lot of hours.
You're very passionate about this. Have you looked at any other way that we can cut to do it?
I think also they would make overtime,
Do
right?
you have any other ideas? Like, have you made a plan on the
They got an
things that
EA,
you're
and
passionate
EA
about
would
how
have
to
get
fund them?
paid for her
Well,
overtime
that's,
also, right?
the first thing I would do is I would ask my friends on Commissioners Court if they had any ideas. Look, there's 5 of us here. Surely one of us or 2 of us can come up with some ways. Why does it have to be just me? This,
You don't want the answer to that question.
do what?
You don't want the answer to that
No, I've
question.
got the answer to that question.
What's the answer
Okay,
to it?
is you don't want to hear it.
No, I want to hear your answer.
Prosperity Bank.
But what I'm saying is, these budget decisions
Yeah.
are the county judge's job. That's what I'm saying.
but he's still saying
They're
funded out of capital
Commissioners
improvement.
Court.
I know.
And you
I
can't,
know.
so why are we having that
But that money,
conversation?
but that money, I have explained till I'm blue in the face for however many courts now that those monies can't be intermingled.
Okay, be kind of like do you have money set aside in your commissioner's budget?
But I don't have separate funds inside my
It's
budget.
funded out of road and
Different.
bridge, whole
It's
different
separate.
beast.
Yeah, and our road and bridge budgets are different and all that state statute. It's not like we pick how it works. And we don't pick how this works either.
You don't build your barns and things like that out of your extra money.
No, I can use my money however I want.
That's
I
right,
can
that's
build
what
it,
I'm saying.
But you can't do that in this fund. That's what we've been saying for months.
It's a
So
misunderstanding.
what's the matter with this fund sitting there until a truly good deal comes along that we could really, truly use?
It still doesn't pay for the EA this year, Judge.
Let it pay the
We're
EA.
just, here's what it looks like, and it looks like this to the public too, and I know you said differently, but it looks like to me and the public that you guys don't have another idea, and you're gonna try to make this bank work regardless of what it costs or anything like that. You're forced into making it work so that you can save face. And I've got to say, that's,
I don't have to save face. I was against the purchase of the Prosperity Bank building. Check tape.
okay.
So,
Then
but we
why-
have it and I see we have the Crest building at the same time.
Yeah.
But I do see the value in consolidating some buildings that we maintain and moving some offices around and giving some people some more room and owning that whole entire block and the parking that comes with it. I see all the value.
The parking that comes with it. How long do you think that parking's gonna last on a daily basis? It's gone.
It's better than what we have right
7:30
now.
in the morning.
It's better than what we have right now. The bank employees have been parking in. Now that's over with.
When you add those offices in over at the bank over there, who do you think's gonna park over there?
Okay, we've been over and I'm not gonna argue with you.
Okay.
And from the public
All right,
view,
we
I
have a
get there
motion
are
on
a few people that agree with you, and there's a few people that agree with
I
the
see.
other 4 of us.
All right. I haven't run into any of those, but that's beside the point. We have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Commissioner Snug seconds that. All in favor of,
Aye.
all opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Although I've said 100 times I agree we need a EA, so.
What's the motion?
Motion was not to fund the EA this year.
One thing, if it was just one person, but it's gonna be 3 people.
I get it, I believe me, I get it.
And where are you gonna office them?
I just just know we need one, that I learned so much at this conference, that things that I'm not, I'm not good at the experience. It's hard to explain.
All right, anything else we have not voted on for this proposed budget?
We haven't voted on a raise, we haven't voted on travel, we haven't voted on the sheriff's office request.
Okay, let's start with the raise.
Because we got a motion still on Reese,
On
I
what?
mean, on Mark Westbrook, we got a motion still, just don't forget.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for pointing that out, ma'am.
Right
I
now,
made
with,
the motion on Mark's.
right now with Constable 2 and the sheriff's asks, we're at 40,576.
Is that with or without his employee? Well, hang on, let's talk to the constable's deal. He's got a motion on the floor for the constable. You're just saying we've already got that in ask.
That's $900, $899.
It's 7
Yes.
now until ammo grows and uniforms grow.
You can look at it two different ways, you know. It's a small decision based on our budget, but all of these small decisions just add up and add up and add up. So we have to take them all seriously.
Does that motion die for lack of a second?
I don't know. I was waiting more input.
Okay.
Like I said, that's one we discussed in
Yeah,
depth a couple of weeks ago, so
Yeah.
but
We
it's,
had, yeah.
Okay, so motion dies for lack of a second. All right. Next is 3% raise. Commissioner Hollowell, what say you?
like I said, I would like to go take a look at cutting travel by about 50%. That would help some. And I'm willing to eat the dry bird called crow, because I said I wasn't in favor of any special raises. That was primarily on department heads and elected officials. I think the sheriff puts forth a good argument on these dispatchers and how they differ from other offices in the county at the courthouse is being able to hire and retain people. We might want to consider that. And then we talked about initially the stipends and sergeant's pays and stuff of that nature. And at that point in time, I don't think any of us objected to those. But that's raises in general. We can hear from some other folks. I mean, it's.
So on the raises, I have been, saying that we can't afford it, and I still stand on that. And the sheriff definitely makes a good argument for a few, and there are probably a few other positions we hit, and maybe if we do a raise, we do a smaller raise just to not get behind the curve. They might not notice it, but we've done it.
Just about every department can make those.
Say that again?
I said just about every department can make a case for their employees.
Oh, yeah,
What they
100%.
go above and beyond to do their work. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
myself, I don't think we should give any special raises unless we give it straight across the board.
This is the hard one.
And
And I don't want people to
where are we
think-
at on the COLA? Did we give a raise to COLA?
Talk about 3%.
We've
No,
never
no.
done a code.
we talked about it last year's first year, we've talked about it in forever, and,
That's the retirement, right?
yeah, the COLA's, the retirement, and it was a bunch of money,
Oh, yeah.
bunch of money, you know,
It'll get you in trouble real quick.
yeah,
That's perpetual.
so.
I don't want employees to think that, you know, I don't think they deserve a raise. That's not the case. But when businesses aren't doing good, you know, people don't get raises, and we're struggling.
Insurance increased about 320,000.
Yeah.
We talked about 300 when we approved that, so we knew it was
And
going to be expensive. You know, the 300 there, the 500 at the tornado, I mean, that was,
We are still financing the $2,000 deductible. Now, not everybody uses it.
but it's there.
yeah. And, you know, everybody's got a different opinion on that, but as long as we're funding that, then they're more apt to go to the doctor and do preventative stuff than wait till it becomes catastrophic, you know? Because some of them, if they had to spend money out of pocket to go to the doctor, they would take less care of themselves.
So that's probably $500,000?
The 2,000?
Yeah,
Yeah.
roughly.
But remember, we done that because we were able to, when we increased
Lower
that,
our
our
price.
premiums went down,
Right.
you know, enough to offset it, did it not at the time?
At the time, but the last 2 or 3 years, our increases have been over 10%.
Yeah, but that's because we've had employees that have had, we've had several employees that have had catastrophic. And if we hadn't had those employees would be in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
$2,000 on 286 employees is $572,000.
And I know people like to measure their raises on what goes into their pocket, and I understand that. But, you know, if you're looking at other jobs, you have to look at the things that are going to come out of your pocket too. You know, the deductible would be $2,000 right there, which is more than the 6% raise. Or 3% raise, I'm sorry. And you know, we went a couple years without raises, and we did it, was it last year we popped to 6?
Year before.
Yeah.
Year before?
Well, and what's hurting us is, you know, if you listen to the media, inflation just went up 2.9%. Well, that's above the 8% we had last year. So, you know, the employees' buying power has decreased considerably.
And employees have to realize that it's the same thing on all of us. It's not like we're magical and the economy's not hurting my pocketbook. Just, you know.
I mean, we might talk earlier this year about putting in requirements that you have to go to a wellness check before you can get your $2,000. I mean, something like that. I wouldn't suggest trying to do it today.
Yeah.
But like, at the first of the year, start talking about it, and then that way everybody will.
Everybody has to, some sort of physical type.
Yeah. Somebody got skin in the game, and they're not caught off guard.
Right. I mean, you can put in some measures like that to try and help the increase not be over 10%
Yeah.
in the future. I mean, I think TAC's trying to do what they can do with that telemed and the that Wonder.
Lavingo.
Yeah, and things like that. And then, like, I have high blood pressure, so I got a
Blood pressure monitor.
machine, yeah, and so when I do it, it goes automatically to their,
Database.
Tele something, and so it keeps track of what my blood pressure is.
Then it tells you to straighten up.
Tells me to stop talking to Gary.
Because your blood pressure goes through the roof. I
Yes.
get it.
I'm kidding. But I think TAC's also trying, but I think we can put in some some measures also.
I mean, it's an awareness, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready to hear some motions.
Let's talk about the travel.
The what?
The travel.
All right.
Do you have a summary or anything on that, Gary?
You talking about conference or?
Yeah, conference.
Like,
Well, I did have. Looks like I
to
might have
me,
got
like
it.
when we're in tight times like this, I would think, only stuff that's required to keep a license or keep a job would, come to mind, but I don't know. I know people need training to do learn things about their role.
I mean, could HR keep up with how many hours they, if they're at their, say hypothetically, 18 hours they're supposed to have per year, and they have 32 hours?
Well, the problem is, your elected officials have to have so many continuing ed hours. But what we've started doing is taking assistants and deputies and maybe 2 deputies and that's great if we were flush in cash. But, as elected officials, most of us go and then we come back and we coach.
Right.
But I mean,
how do they get into the class if they're not even
oh,
required to have it?
you got the money, you can register.
So that's been a thought for me is
I
when
mean,
things
Pam,
aren't required.
I use Pam as example just because she's sitting here, but you could take your deputies.
That's what was to me when we went to all conferences, but now don't take anybody because I come back and like he's saying, I come back and tell.
Well, that's the way, that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
But
like some department is able to use
well, if they're using forfeiture monies, that's not.
That's a whole different deal.
That-
but
that's
like,
a-
if
yeah.
it's coming out of the budget, I think if it's not a mandatory thing, like in these dire times, I don't think
Well, wouldn't that
that
be
we do
kind of
it.
easy to say that, our classes are
Yeah, at one point, and we went through some of these, I guess, and I didn't do what?
He doesn't.
Library is sitting at 4,500. County attorney's sitting at 15,600. I mean, I would cut that one by half. I'd cut several of them by half.
And we did cut that last year.
Well, it hadn't been used in years, that kind of money. And that's, it's not a reflection on the department. It's we need to be looking at some savings. I need to go back to the budget
What's the
instead of
county
this.
judge?
I think you put some money in this time for your admin, didn't you, Judge?
I might have.
Yeah, we did, but I mean, I just didn't get to go this last year.
Well, and you're probably one that needs to go, especially truth and taxation and stuff of that nature. And you're not asking for $8,000.
Right.
But if we went back and looked at last year compared to this year, if they didn't use it the last year, and that's what a budget is to budget kind of where you were last year, add a little percentage to it if you think you're gonna be there, like we do on fuel and gravel and what have you, in our lines. And if you didn't use it last year, why are you asking for it again this year? Okay, well, it's the next cycle. Okay, well, let's look at 2 years. So a cycle's 2 years for your CEs.
But if you're taking, say last year, you spent money to take your deputy, or 2 deputies.
Well, I don't-
So we need to look at that and not,
Right.
you know. I mean, and last year, I think the judge went out and asked some folks, and they cut some. But then there's those that said, oh, no, we're not cutting anything. So because they didn't try to adjust it, then we
Shelley,
kind of need to
what is
adjust it for them.
411?
What is 411? On what?
Just who is that? What department is 411?
That's-
411 is veterans.
Is what?
No, it's,
Oh, he's got 1,500 in his.
no, 411 is,
Looks to me like you got some deputies and some clerks in there. Oh, it's Cooke County, goodness, compliance.
That's what
it's compliance, yeah.
Compliance.
oh, I see it now, down here at the bottom.
405.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And see, she typically hasn't used, well, back in 2023, I guess she used close to it, yeah.
Is that role required to go to training? I mean, it's just one I've just landed on right here.
Yeah.
I think she goes to the government collectors. I forget the acronym of that.
Is that, you know, yeah, nothing.
Government Collectors Association. And she's registered for this year.
And I don't,
Oh, no,
I don't know
it's-
why the anomaly, but here's one that went from 1,300 in 2022 to 2,200 in 2023, and now they want $8,000.
On how much?
8,000.
Who is that?
Just a second, Judge, I'll come back to it. Yeah, in the JP's office, I get he's got some new employees, may be the reason he's doing this, but he's going from 1,400 to 6,000. JP2's going from 0 to 2,500. And like I said, county attorneys, the most they've ever spent $6,800. They budgeted $11,000 last year, and they're asking for $15,600 this year. Oops, I'm sorry. Most they ever spent was in 2022 at $7,100. 2023, $6,800, and
So
so.
say, just put them down to the, say, 8,000.
Well, I'd put them down to 7,500 is where I would
That's
go.
the max you've used over the last 3 years in that. That's where it is, and if you need to get more, you've got to explain to us why you need it. Budget.
I like that.
I mean, we have to do it all the time.
I know.
The DA's office, the
I mean, it's an
DA's
inflated number,
office,
is what we're sitting here trying to work out. Well, that's an inflated number.
the,
It's the budget. Pull it out.
the DA's office in 2022 spent 6,100. In 2023, they spent 3,800. And they budgeted 10,000 this year. Now, I know they're one of them that uses forfeiture funds, fortunately, and they have those forfeiture funds. But if you add their forfeiture funds, that'd take them up probably over $20,000 in travel. But again, we don't care about their forfeiture, but we certainly should cut their, I would consider cutting them by probably $5,000. But, you know, what do we want to do, guys? We want to talk about it, or we want to do it?
I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't want to keep anybody from getting their, required CEs, but it's just, if we can cut out some fluff, it's a good place to do it.
Well, but, Adam had a good point there.
If you look at your actuals
Yeah.
and put a 10% increase on it with, everything's increased over the last few years. But if it's $7,500, it's what they spent in '23, add $750 and it's at $8,250, not $15,000.
Yeah.
Well, they're also going to say, well, it's coming back, but we have to fund that budget.
Oh, but it's not coming back. I mean,
It comes back to the general fund at the end, but it's still,
oh, you're saying if they don't spend it, but
if they don't spend it.
It goes into the budget deficit.
But if I got $8,000 up there, why ain't I gonna spend it? That's the deal, and especially if they think we're playing a game with it, and we're not playing a
It's
game.
not a
But I
game.
mean, it's.
Do we need to do everyone's travel budget?
Everyone.
We might as well get started on the top. Let's go.
You got it online, Adam? You want to take it and run with it?
Well, I'm just sitting here looking at,
I want to write these down, Chelsea.
I'm just
What
sitting
is
here looking,
all
is that
of
under training or what's it under?
It's under conference,
Conference.
and training's a whole different beast.
Yeah, conference.
What is the first one? County judge is the first budget that I'm coming to. Is that what y'all are coming to on page? Well, if I had a page, what would it be?
I'm on EMS was Monday at 1:30.
I'm at 150, line 154 on the spreadsheet.
On the main spreadsheet.
I'm looking at the 2025 budget provided to us by Shelley, and I'm looking at the one, they're the same with the exception of raises, and this is
You're looking on the 2025 budget worksheet.
with no raise is the one I just
I'm in the
have pulled
raise,
up.
and I'll get out of that one.
What? Am I wrong?
No, I'm not, I'm just looking at you.
Okay. Do what?
You said you're on line.
I'm
I
on-
was in the one with the raise. Let me get in. You said line 150?
Yeah, I mean, that's, because I don't see pages on it at this count.
Okay.
See, for some reason, I can't get no farther than,
And that's one that they've used 961.
County judge, if I'm on.
We're just starting, they told us to go to the top.
You said no.
While you were gone, they just started at the top. Do what?
One with no raises?
Yeah, I'm looking at the one with no raises, but just because that's the one I pulled up. And the county judge is the first one, and he's asked for $1,000. Well, in 2022, they used $961, so I'm going to say that one is, appropriate, would be my thinking. And then y'all can take it and run with it from there.
I'm trying to make sure our lines match up. What's your far left number say?
Okay, I've stepped down. Let me go back. On the county judge, it starts off line number 154, and it's account number 400 and 101.
there it is.
Okay, that's where I'm at too. Okay.
That where everybody's at?
And which one do you have first?
I got the county judge is what I've got, because I think that's the first department passed. Did I miss something?
Okay.
Yeah, there's first department, past revenue.
Okay, past revenues. And like I said,
So he's got $1,000.
that's right. And
I agree with that.
Okay.
I think that's fine.
Okay. Who's next?
Commissioner's office doesn't have anything in travel,
Okay.
and I don't know that we don't need a little something in there but if we want to send an admin assistant somewhere.
I don't see that right now.
Okay?
And we'll get down to the clerk.
Clerk, is this Pam's?
Don't talk about me, she's right there. She got 6,300 in there.
I see
What?
5,500.
I see 5,500.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You had 4 in there
4
last
in
year.
there. We used 2,800 so far.
What if we put you at 4,500? What if we put you at 4,500? What, you okay with that?
Yeah, that's basically just,
And Shelley, your note needs, right?
I'll have to go to the election conference again. Now we gotta pay for parking.
Well, you need to be at 5,000?
See that, Shelley, where now they're charging us for parking and the restaurants?
I think
She's
I mean,
good.
She originally asked for 63, and y'all cut her to 5,500.
When y'all do all that cutting? We done that on the first pass with hers?
I'd like to just cut it to 0.
It's,
Well, the most I see in the last 3 years, you were at 28, 24, but if you got another one you need to get in there.
I mean,
but you had 5,000 this
The
year?
clerks have 4 conferences. I usually can't make the summer one, sometimes because of elections, or I can't make the winter one depending, but I usually just get to go to 1, maybe 2.
But are you sending somebody with the rest of that?
No, I do send mine, that's in the other budget that I have. Do I have 2,000 or 1,000 in mine?
2,000.
2,000.
I misspoke. I was looking at the wrong line on, she did ask for 5,500.
Yeah.
She has 4,000 this year, and she asked for 5,500 for next year.
So, but you had 4,000, you almost had to do a budget amendment for how much? If we add $1,000 to it, well, that,
Do you get reimbursed from the Texas
Yes,
Judiciary?
when I go to the, but you still have to budget it. We do get reimbursed for part of mine, yeah. But I still have to budget it, because I pay for it, and, money just goes back in the general fund.
so,
And that's probably why some of these don't look like they've spent as much, because the district clerk,
It
county
offsets.
clerk, and the judges all get reimbursed from the Texas Center for Judiciary.
but this is real money. So if we budget where they was, real money, then
Right.
it should cover it. Because it's gonna come back. But so, I mean, it's even more important to me if they budgeted 8,000, they're gonna get half of it back. Basically theirs is gonna be paid for, some of them.
Well, the
County clerk, district
Judiciary
clerk.
only allows X amount of dollars for the hotel and mileage, and that's it.
Pay for the food.
Or parking or anything like that.
But it goes back to what Adam was saying earlier, when we budgeted up front, we gotta set the tax rate on it, and if ultimately they're getting paid back,
No, I get you.
I mean,
I mean, I could definitely cut mine if I didn't go to just one county clerk conference, but sometimes there's something on the agenda, I'm like, ooh, I really need to go learn about this.
but you get reimbursed on that one?
Yeah, on the,
So,
It's just
so
summer
real
work.
money, what's it costing us in real tax dollars?
Well, 2022,
I'd have to go look at all mine.
out of her budget, now not coming back, but 2355 and then 2795 for 23.
There's 2,800 in here, what's that this year? That's year-to-date. She spent 2,800 this year.
That's, 23.
What?
Oh, well, you're looking at a
I'm
more
looking at actual 2020.
You're looking at a more updated one.
Yeah, because is it counting the one I just went to? It was almost 1,500.
On 8/12, when I ran this one, she had spent 36.44.
Okay, and she was concerned, but like some of that's coming back, right?
If it had, it'd already be in there.
Okay.
The receipt would already be in there.
I'm gonna
If you had
say,
anywhere this month.
just to
Yeah, I
move
just
us,
got back from
Oh,
election.
shoot.
let's move us along, I say $5,000.
But the Center for Judiciary is not gonna pay for your
Somebody hit something and
elections.
went back to
No,
the beginning.
no.
It's only when you go to a class that's court-related that they reimburse.
Can I ask a refresher question? Why do you have two budgets? What's the difference?
Pam,
Uh-huh.
she has their front office, which is deeds and records, she has her back office, which is court. So
Okay.
if you want to separate out how much your courts cost you and how much your
Okay. I knew there was a reason, I just couldn't
Yeah.
remember what it was.
I did that when I first got here.
I ask you, I don't know. You're writing them down as we go, you're doing them as we go?
We're going
Well,
five
y'all
on
hadn't
Pam.
made any cuts yet, so I hadn't written anything down.
Okay,
going-
but I
we're
mean,
going-
you're going to, so we don't, okay.
We're going five on Pam, is that what you said?
I don't know, I said that. Y'all want to go with 5 on Pam, that increased her by 1,000.
And that was,
And then the back office, I think Lisa could go to that probate school for under 15. And I always just put a little extra, because you just never know.
so 17's fine.
Yeah, okay. So, where are you seeing 17, Bubba?
On
That's
the
a-
next line.
No,
on the
that's
next
Veterans
department.
Affairs. That's Veterans Affairs. And-
Sorry.
And that's all I mean,
I was trying to get a hold of him because he hadn't been going. See, cut his back.
He acted like he was gonna go this year for something he had to go to.
okay, did we agree at 5 on Pam's?
Yes,
Okay.
In my back office, y'all can do 15,
1,500.
because I have two, right?
I don't see that on here.
Where's her back office at? Shelley on here?
Department 427.
Oh, we gotta skip way down there for that. My word. You're killing
Do all
me.
mine together.
427.
Sound like it ought to be a Chevrolet motor from the past. 1,800's what you got, Pam.
Oh, I just have 18. You
Trying
better-
to slide me for 100, wasn't you?
'cause I think I gotta send Bailey this year. She's never gone.
Okay.
You say you're good with 1,500 on that, on 427?
I think they could go.
Yeah. The most you spent in the past is
What
1,100.
did I spend last year?
You don't show, $1,600 is what you budgeted for last year. But
No,
Somebody went to budget to,
23, you spent 1,153.
this is gonna mess me up, having to skip all the way to 427, and then I gotta turn it back.
I know Lisa went to,
You like some wine with that cheese?
no kidding.
Cheese with that wine, I guess.
We got 16 budgeted for this year. You spent $1,153.23. And you've asked for 18 for next year.
I think I just did that thinking, inflation, just everything costing a little more. So-
Conference fees or registration fees have
Yeah, just-
gone up dramatically.
Yeah, they have. So that's what I was worried about, so. I mean, I'm not gonna save y'all a lot if I change it to 15, so if y'all wanna just leave it, it's up to y'all. I think I put it there on my spreadsheet, because Davey keeps saying they're gonna bring conference back, they keep telling us that. But I don't think they will either, so. I think that's one reason I was worried. Whatever y'all wanna do on me, I'm good.
17?
You're gonna reduce it to 17?
No. We got an auctioneer, I'm trying to get him involved.
1,500.
There we go. What? That's not very nice.
Why? Just say you're so funny. How's that not nice?
I'm just,
Okay, where are we at?
She didn't say what she was thinking.
I know. All right, we're going back to 405, going back up to 405.
And I've texted him, hadn't heard back
That's
from him yet.
better.
Yeah, but that's the next one in line, if we stay in line, isn't it?
He acted like he was gonna go somewhere this year, but I don't see $1,700.
Most
Most
he's-
he's ever spent was $760.
Who's that?
Spent
Tim.
1,421.
Oh, I don't build that.
We can't see that far, yeah.
Let's go from 17 to 1,500. Gary? 1,500?
I'm good.
1,500 on 405, 427.
Who's next?
Emergency management, maybe?
Yep.
He's got 1,500 in there. I don't wonder, he must be spending out of some other line item because he hadn't spent anything out of that in 3
He
years.
has a 429, not a 427.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but he didn't spend any out of this one. And I hope everybody understands why we're doing this. It's not, I mean, it's,
All right, I moved his 429 to 427.
Yeah, because he didn't put any in training on 429.
so he spent 1,300, no, he budgeted 1,300 last year.
The budget for this year, hang on. Y'all are making me crazy.
I would second that motion, but
He has spent 300 this year.
with 1,300 budgeted.
Yeah. Spent 16, 17 in fiscal year 22.
22.
He's spent $300 so far this year.
See, I don't know
Does
when
he have two departments?
But he's got a conference and a training.
Yeah, but
Well,
doesn't-
yes, so he has
Fire marshal and emergency man.
yeah, right now, we're just on the emergency management one.
I think he has some state required stuff.
I,
Get back to it. Where's it at?
you got to quit losing it.
I
man.
know it.
I don't,
He's put it in for this year. He hadn't had it in a while.
well, Shelley said she moved something.
Oh, okay.
Well, I created, in Department 407, I created a conference expense line, and moved all of the expenses from training up to conference expense.
So Ray just sent me a message. He says, I do a conference and try to do a training each year. No time for training this year, but hopefully next.
Okay, but he's got conference in his fire marshal budget, is that correct?
What number is that?
Department 543.
Oh, Lord.
She does it to us again.
No, you did, because you asked.
Adam asked.
50.
540.
543.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, he's got 1,750 there.
Okay, so
He should.
totally, that's 3,250.
See-
It sounds like he's not going this year.
He might do a conference, but probably no training.
So I wonder, he may not be listening. Which ones he want us to deal with, if any at all?
In 407, he'll only have one line item.
Okay. Let's move on. What do you think?
Yep.
Good.
Let me ask a question right now. Are we gonna be able to get this done pretty soon, or do we need to take a break and come back, or what do y'all think?
It kind of looks like the only two real things we can impact it with is travel and a raise at this point. And then and we knock travel out if we'll keep this pace. Then all we'd have to do is make a raise decision unless there's some other.
No, you're right. If we can keep moving on the travel,
Unless, am I missing anything
I
else?
don't think so. We ought to be able to click them off, and then the raise ought to be a yes, no.
Betty waiting on you or anything?
No.
Okay.
Excuse me.
I was making sure you weren't in line.
No. I didn't want y'all to be in bind.
I
Okay,
mean, I'm hungry, but we're making progress, so I'm not going anywhere.
yeah.
So I'm down to compliance officer, 411.
So we're
Somebody seen that?
leaving
Sorry?
our emergency management alone?
I think so. I put a question mark in case,
This was 1,500, did you say?
17, yeah, no.
like 15. But if he's got two of them, we need to look. If it's truly 3,200 in there and he's not going to one of them, well, we can regroup.
We can,
He's got an emergency management conference and a fire marshal conference and fire marshal training.
I'm about to ask him about the training, because I don't think he's catching that.
407.50 and up for conference, 543.50 for conference, and 1,500 for training. And that's not too inflated for a conference.
No, I mean, it's just like the Veterans Affairs. If he goes somewhere, that's not,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not one of them that's hitting us for 7,000, 8,000. That's the ones where we can save some money.
Right.
Tim said he needs it for next year.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're past emergency management, go to,
You're still checking, right?
Compliance?
Yeah, I'm asking Ray about the 1,300,
Okay.
but we can move on.
Compliance.
I see 1,500.
Looked like she spent 14 year before last her.
Yeah,
She's pretty close.
pretty close. I agree with compliance. County court at law,
See, and I think they've been real good to do a bunch of theirs online, because I'm confident that they're staying up. So, I don't know what the deal is there. If we cut it back to 2,000, that's 4 times what it's been in the past. Did we not cut that one before, Shelley?
Yeah, he asked for 3,500 and y'all put it for 2,000.
Okay, so
And
I'm
I
looking at
can-
Owen.
I can move the 2,000 for the court reporter to the court reporter fund.
Where's,
What you at, Bubba? We're in 426 now.
Yeah.
we're at 426?
We're in group 420,
Oh,
you're way, yeah,
there you go.
up to 426. Nope, we passed it.
Why did we,
Because that's all revenue stuff.
Okay.
I mean, oh, no, we done court compliance, okay?
okay. Guess I just didn't,
Now, that was what we skipped.
we skipped. Who is that?
It's,
Is that Janelle's?
no,
No.
no,
County
that's,
court.
County court law.
409?
but we didn't
is?
skip him, we,
No, 426.
426.
Well, we didn't do 409.
The 409 is non-department, they don't have their.
There's
Oh, I
one in
see.
that. Look for your 427s. It's your conference expenses.
426.
Well, 426, 427.
yeah.
None, I mean,
Yeah, but we cut that already back to 2, right? Okay, we're looking at an old one, guys. That's setting at 2.
So it's good?
Shelley's looking at the latest, but it's $2,000, yeah, okay, I think that's
so
probably-
this one was 3,500, but it's already been cut back to 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the 428 conference court reporter?
I can move that to the court reporter fund.
Okay.
So it'll pay out of it and not out of, okay, that's good.
A 431 coordinator, it's 1,000.
She does a lot of hers online.
Right?
Well, wait a minute, what did I say? I thought that was what we was doing earlier, this 3,500. Who's that conference expense for?
County judge.
The judge.
Oh,
Judge
okay,
Moore.
okay, but he cut it, okay. And then we cut the coordinators last time, didn't we?
No, you didn't touch it.
Okay. Okay,
You got it at 1,000.
Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody asked
So on-
That there.
How did I miss, what did we say about 435 then?
We're not there yet. We're in Department 427, 426.
426.
Okay.
Nine out of
Going up.
394,
I was getting ahead of y'all for one.
yeah.
There you go.
About 394 right in there.
He's hangry.
Yeah, I'd say.
I'm not hangry yet. You'll know when I'm hangry.
So we go with county court at law?
I'm just now here.
Oh. Was 3,500, which was brought to 2,000.
Yeah, so I'm good there.
2,000 for the court reporter, which
I'm
See,
pulling
that's why I
out.
moved on. I thought
which
we'd
is
already decided
refunded
that.
back.
No, I'm gonna move it to the court reporter fund.
Okay.
There's a separate fund.
And the coordinator we're at 1,000, I'm good with.
Okay,
And the 427.
Now moving to 435.
You've already been there.
no, well, yeah.
Y'all planning on going somewhere?
She's going somewhere next week.
So
Yep.
is the 427, is that the court reporter?
427 is county court at
Okay.
law,
435
clerks.
is the, we're talking 427s. Now you're looking at
We were at
435.
426 and then y'all go to 435.
No,
We're at 435.
no, they're the middle, look at the middle number.
That's what I understand that. I'm just saying that was the next one in line and then y'all were already going to where I was just a minute ago.
Well, you got ahead and then you got behind, now get in the middle.
Jesus.
Well, since you've already been there, what should it be?
A lot less than it is
Okay.
because it hadn't been used ever.
Uh-huh.
Are you in 435?
I'm in 435 and it shows the most it's been used is $350. And that was this year. Before that it was $10 and $191 and $215.
What they have budgeted.
Well, that
Oh,
one-
never mind. One of them is a percentage. She has 5,000 budgeted. Last year was 3350 and haven't.
Do you know
Even
anything
used
she's
any
got
of it.
going on, Shelley?
A lot of the judges are reimbursed, other than travel, meals and,
So do we need to leave that at 5,000 and she gets reimbursed for it, or what's the, because there's about 10,000, we're 70, there's 9,000 total.
well, again, I can move the 1,500 to court reporter.
Okay.
Did they get state money in?
They get reimbursed for their travel, but we gotta pay it initially. So Shelley asked me this, regardless of what we put in there, other than having to fund it in a tax rate, is it not costing the county anything?
What do you mean?
No, we're gonna put 5,000 in there. We gotta fund it, I get that. But ultimately, they travel, they spend the 5,000, they get reimbursed. So it's really not costing us other than funded on the tax rate, so, okay. But we still got,
did 3350 last year.
yeah.
I probably did a budget amendment, because I have 5,000 was the original
Okay.
budget.
But was the 3350 actual last year? Did you do a budget amendment?
Well, it's current year,
Current.
but,
But right off, we shaved 1,500 off of that. We could probably take 500 off the court coordinator. That'd give them 500 more than last year, or this year, what's budgeted this year. And the most they've ever spent's 14.
You're talking about district court, right?
I am.
Has she been to training or school or anything, Kristen?
Yes, she's been
She's
to a
been-
coordinator class, school,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Shelley, you still working on line item 420? I'm sorry, 427?
No,
Okay, what'd we do?
in county court law,
No, I'm in district.
district. You haven't done anything other than I'm moving 1,500 to county court.
Okay, Jason was asking, can we take it back to 3350? And I thought maybe you said you was looking to see if you done a budget amendment.
Well, they did their shredder, they had to buy a new shredder, so they took some money from that line item and some money from, I think, supplies,
Okay.
somewhere.
So if we actually put conference back to 3350, we don't have a problem unless she needs another shredder.
They won't need another shredder. Yeah, you can take it back to 3350.
3350?
Yep.
Yep.
Keep court reporter at 15 or bring it down to 1,000?
I'm
You're gonna
moving it
move
to
it?
court
Okay.
reporter.
What about the court coordinator, 2,500?
I heard court reporters,
She's moving them,
didn't she ask for an increase in those?
No,
not for conference.
Oh, never mind.
That was salaries last
Yeah,
year, I
that's
think,
salary.
Judge, you're thinking about. Coordinator, I think maybe we drop it back to 2,000, that's a $500 increase. I'm at 435, 431.
Yep.
But, leave it alone, move on.
Did you say you want to back it up a little bit?
Oh, I should back it up to 2,000.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Do that.
Hadn't used any this year, $75 what I showed.
Or district clerk,
She get refunded too back?
yes.
I think we cut it to 4,000. Is there a chance she goes to a conference and gets her money back before the next conference, Shelley? And when that happens, do you put that in general fund right then? In other words, it's usable?
It looks like she included this, her conferences cost 9,200, she's reimbursed 1,500, so approximate conference cost 7,700.
Yeah, but she's taking somebody other than herself. Because she said she likes to take one time and one the next or something.
She's got, 2,700 for deputy clerk.
Yeah, I say we cut it back to 4,000,
From,
8,000. But go, again, Shelley, if she goes, she spends her money, is there a chance she gets reimbursed before the next conference, or do you put it back in that same year? How's that work?
Yeah, I mean, it comes within 2 or 3 weeks.
And you put it back in her line? Yeah, so it rotating in and out.
Moving on to JP1?
Oh, did you,
sounds good, Gary.
oh, 4,000? Okay,
Yep.
all right. JP1. And
Budget, it was 48 for,
And the most he's ever spent is 15, but like I said, might leave him at 48. With Yeah,
in 21.
yeah.
That's for his office, right, that travel?
Yes.
Okay, and he's got one, maybe two.
I think he's got 3, doesn't he, admins
Well, he's
now?
got 3, but I'm talking about that are new. I'm sorry.
And then he's got
10.
7,000 there total. What's the difference in his 427 and his 450? Oh, never mind, I got computer expense in there. Okay.
I say conference at 6,000.
I'm sorry, Adam?
His conference expense shows 6,000.
That's his request, yeah, but this year's 4,800 and he's never spent more than 2,100. According to Shelley, she's gone back a year, you and I can't
Did
see.
he get reimbursed also?
No.
No.
$2,025.52 in FY21.
Cut him to 3? Or 4?
Well, okay, but still, he's got, probably Kim has been to no conferences yet. Do you know whether she has or not, Shelley?
No.
And Cindy's.
You're
Oh, no, you're in the wrong
JP1.
JP. You're in the wrong JP's
Oh,
office.
Yeah, okay, never mind. So he's got one new.
So far, he spent $1,487 as of August the 12th.
And what'd you say, Gary?
I say bring it to 4.
3 would be twice as much as he's ever spent.
Yeah. 3,500, 3,000.
No, he spent 2,021.
Okay,
4 would be twice as much.
So say 4,000.
okay, I'm good.
4,000.
And that's actually a cut from last year.
Yeah, but he didn't use it.
I know, I got it.
30%.
Now we're down to JP2.
What's the number?
Use everything they got.
Well, if that, they gotta operate within a budget. If they know what their budget is and they schedule a conference they can't pay for, then that's probably a mistake.
I mean, if you haven't used it, we're budgeting that money that's not being used, and it inflates our side.
What number are we on now?
I think I'm on 456.
JP2,
So we
25.
dropped JP1 down to 4,000.
Yes.
Right.
yes. JP2 showing 2,500, and he's used $255 over the last 4 years, or 3 years that I see.
We need to leave some money in there because he's got a new chief, or whatever you call it, that probably needs some.
Well, really, all 3 of his are fairly new.
But if we do like, we're doing on some of them, if we let his senior deputy, or not his senior, but his
It's chief deputy.
chief deputy go, and then she come back and train.
Chief clerk.
Chief clerk.
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
chief deputy,
Yeah,
I
don't-
think.
Can probably back that one up to 1,500 pretty safely.
Chief deputy clerk.
There you go.
What did we leave one at?
4,000.
That's a drastic difference.
Well, but they
How
manage,
many
they manage
hours are
it.
the JPs required to get?
20 is what it used to be.
And see, anymore, you wonder how much of it they get online too. That's,
If they're a lawyer, do they have to go?
Yep. Doesn't make any difference. It's still other stuff like inquests and stuff like that. It's not,
Who keeps track of JP hours, the JP and Constables Association?
I think so.
of course, most of the time they get reimbursed at 100%. The constable get reimbursed 100%.
We're talking JP.
I know, but the judges,
TAC may keep, I can't remember. Seemed like TAC kept track of it.
So if you're not keeping up with your hours, who lets them?
If what?
If you're not keeping up with your hours, who lets somebody know? I guess they let the
They
elected
let you
official.
know. Well, in fact, right after I came back this time, and it's kind of all the same thing. After I came back this time, they contacted my office and said, I'm not signed up for anything, here's what I need and everything else. And that's when we turned in that I don't have any judicial requirements, which wiped it away.
Right.
So,
Okay.
But the county judges and commissioners group
yeah.
handles y'all's, right, or TAC does?
Oh,
Or
Allison,
BG,
Allison's one we get the letter from, I think, that says what we've
It must
completed.
be through BG Young then.
Actually, a letter comes from Allison, I don't know, but VG Young is who handles all the training ultimately. Okay, we're JP2 conference.
25? That's what's at.
He's got, I'll tell you what, he's got essentially 3 new people. Well,
But only one of them is gonna go.
And if I'm him, I want to send him a chief and be sure she gets it. She comes
Yeah.
back and teaches other, and the next year maybe send another one.
plus he's got to go.
Yeah.
He hadn't been in a while.
Yeah.
He,
Most they've spent $643 in fiscal year '21.
why has he not gone to JP school?
Might be paying out of his own pocket.
Maybe doing it online.
Past COVID, I don't know
Yeah, I don't.
any more online stuff. I don't know.
Oh, we still, a bunch of our stuff, we get a choice,
Oh, do you?
just to go online or, in person.
Keep him at 25.
I'd say that, yeah. If Jody is at 4, we'll,
All right, county attorney.
what are they at now?
They moved to 15.6.
Yeah.
Most I've seen is 7,000. 7,100.
They moved all 15.6. Gee.
Did they get refunded back to Shelley, county attorney?
No.
Yeah, but we got to ask them to run in a budget. Again, I think about $7,500.
They've spent $93.66 so far this year.
Yeah, but again, how much of that is absolutely necessary?
I can't answer that question.
Yeah. They spent what, 90?
$93.66.
And they budgeted
I
11,000.
tend to agree with you, more like 7,500,
I-
8,000.
Hang on,
something like that.
I beg your pardon.
Because how many of that's budget
They
amendments?
budgeted 12,000, they've done a budget amendment down to 93.66, they've spent 2101 so far.
Is all they spent on travel, and they moved it to fund other things.
Yes. I think it was to vehicle maintenance for the Crown Vic. 22, they spent $7,129.
Yeah, that vehicle maintenance.
Well, what they've done is they've had a travel number and they budgeted it,
They're using it as a little contingency fund.
$7,500.
Or.
7,100.
I know, I'm suggesting,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
suggesting $7,500.
So like on that one, I'd be curious if it's a situation where, just lead people can go.
Well, it depends on how much money you leave in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we need people to get their continuing ed
Right.
that's required. And you don't want to cut them out on that, but we don't need to be twice what they're spending and moving it to purchase vehicle repairs, if that's the case. Anyway,
7,500 sounds good to me. Gallery?
Are you reducing it?
What,
We-
75?
that's the number we've thrown out there.
75?
Need to be comfortable with it, because people are gonna be upset, guys.
Yep.
But they're gonna be upset across the board.
Who's next?
District attorney?
Like I said, that group is good to use their forfeiture money, but
They get reimbursed too, though, probably, don't they? State?
I think
district
probably the
attorney?
DA does. I don't know, does the whole office get reimbursed, Shelley, or just the DA? Oh, he doesn't get anything?
Is there an updated number on what they've used this year? Because I'm showing less than 1,000, less than 900 out of 10 grand.
And like I said, that's because they use some forfeiture money, which is good on their part.
So far, they've spent $4,025 as of August the 12th.
Maybe we can back that one up to 7,500 as well.
5,000.
5,000 because they got forfeiture money.
They spent $6,124 and 22.
Yeah, but they got away, we can't ask them to subsidize it, but can you tell what they spent out of forfeiture money on travel?
They take their whole office at the end of the year to a conference. In '23, they spent $10,719.
Out of forfeiture money, yeah. And so if we spent our full 10, that'd be 20,000. So if they spent 10 forfeiture and 5 general fund money, that's $15,000 in travel.
That's plenty.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, at some point you got to say, hey,
Yeah.
What are you reducing it? To what?
$5,000 is what's out there. I don't know.
anybody like that idea? 5,000.
Love it.
They spent 10 out of forfeiture, and if they spend 5 out of ours, that'd be $15,000 a year in travel. That's over $1,000 a month. Not travel, conference.
Thoughts, Adam, Matt? Guys? You like it?
Roll it. Who's next? Oh, the county auditor.
Next.
You spent $8,900 last year, and you want $10,000 this year.
How much is the auditors?
Actually, she spent $9,100 in 2022, so she's at least consistent about going.
23 and 24, pretty close.
Probably lower it down to about
$3,000.
700.
But now, some of your staff absolutely have to, don't they?
Sharon goes because she's me when I'm not here.
Yeah. So,
That's it, it's just me and Sharon.
okay.
I cut mine, I had to do a budget amendment for this year to get through this year.
How many hours do you have to have?
40 hours.
I figure there's a bunch.
Okay, we gotta get 16 or whatever, and it
Yeah.
cost us $4,000. You know, it's,
Well, and I know that where you're going, you have to learn all these things that, I get it, it's a different scenario.
You can come with me.
I'm good.
we'd have to add to his budget then, though, and then have to get him some medication.
Lots of Tylenol.
I say we move on that one. Leave it there.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you,
Yeah.
Commissioner Arndt.
County treasurer, 3,500.
She put that in there, assuming a new person would have to make whatever the continuing ed is plus
Try to get
that
speed.
finance,
The new,
that you gotta do that financial management school.
Yep.
That's
The
County
public
investment,
investments.
county investment or public investment.
Public investment.
They have to do that, but then don't they have some other continuing ed?
I think
And
we
this
ought to
just,
leave that one
and
there.
this will be next year's budget too, so.
How much is it
yeah.
now?
3,500.
Yeah, let's leave that there.
Human resources,
Yeah,
I don't even see she's got one. Yeah, there it is, 2,000.
she spent 1,800, 1,900,
She's
she's
right
pretty
on
close, yeah.
That one's good on my side.
Yep.
Good.
Tax office. They got 8,000. They're,
She spent 5,800, 7,900, but she too has been taking a deputy. So we need to be consistent there.
How much did we cut the other one down?
We cut it to 4,000. But now, does Brandy get, she gets nothing back. But again, she can cut what it's costing her if she doesn't take a deputy.
Does she go to the election, she goes to
Yeah.
election school and
And she takes.
tax assessor?
Yeah, she's like me, she's got to do two.
So she needs at least $4,000.
I would think she'd need more than that.
What?
She'd need more than that,
yeah.
Okay, what is it?
like 6.
I was about to text her, but I don't.
I just did.
Okay, I don't have her. Share that with me when you get.
She probably has to have probably 20 or 30 hours a year too, doesn't she?
I don't know.
I'm sure she has to have some stuff, and then she probably goes to some other stuff that's beneficial for the
Yeah.
many hats.
Right here, 6.
I was wondering if,
We just got to be.
there's some extra employees going that don't need to go.
Yeah, that's what we need to be addressing. But guys, I think we got to be consistent. That's what we got to
She
be.
goes to a TAC election training that I don't go to.
Yeah, I mean, we because every one of them can come back up here and, I mean, if they'd helped us last year, it made it a little bit easier, but when they didn't, I mean, last year, they just, like I said, she spent the 79, she spent 58, but I think she's taking deputies.
County tax assessor must successfully complete 20 hours each anniversary of the date on which, hang on,
It's late in the afternoon for legalese.
I know. And I need my dry throat spray. If the,
That's like popping her knuckles. Thought, man, that hurt me plumb down here.
My neck.
Yeah.
I think they have to have 20 hours every year or every 4 years?
That's not much over 4 years.
Oh, we got more than that.
Must be every 4 years. I mean, every year.
Yeah.
Brandy said she's only got $173 left in her conference right now.
Yeah, but she's still taking deputies.
See, as of August the 12th, I show she spent $5,765.
Want to come back to that one until we find out?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, with the IT,
So it's 20 hours a year on the anniversary date of when they take office. So every year, 20 hours. So for 4 years, 80 hours.
but doing it on the year is 20 hours,
Yeah.
about like ours. Ours is 16, so we know it cost her about $4,000.
So what are you doing?
Jason is texting.
Oh.
Darryl, what do you absolutely positively have to have, can't live without?
Brandy said she can go down to 6. That's That's a pretty, that's a,
$2,000
that's a
cut,
pretty
that's
big
third.
sacrifice right there.
Well,
From 8 to 6?
But,
considering we cut the other
yeah,
4,
well, I mean, that was a big,
again, it goes back, is she taking a deputy?
that's what I said, we're urging one person
I
to go
requested
back.
5,500
Okay, she was taking chief deputy.
last year's
with her.
budget.
So
I
it
think
needs
was
to-
5,000.
Yeah.
So
What'd you, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I requested 5,500 for travel this upcoming budget. I think last year's was 5,000.
You requested 55 and 24 and 55 and 25.
Ah, my mistake.
It
So-
looks like in '23 you spent 5,000 and 55, but how many of those do you have to have? I mean, do you have to have any continuing ed hours?
No, there's no requirement for us to have it by some licensing agency. However, you certainly want your IT people to be up to speed, I would think. What we do right now is each of us goes to one conference, and then we rotate which conference we go to. So if I go to the TAC IT conference one year, Deanna Christian will go the following year, so that we're all kind of mixing our knowledge.
But you're sending all 3 people
Yes,
every year.
yes.
Uh,
We definitely do need that. That's our only professional development. We don't have a line for, say, training classes or anything like that. So if we couldn't send all 3 of us to a conference, we'd need to move some money to get a training class of some sort, because you don't want your IT folks going stale, so to speak.
If you need some good training, I can really keep y'all up to speed. I'm a IT wizard.
Sounds great.
Wizard, I get the wizard part.
He knows better. He knows how many times I call him.
You got that thing plugged in right?
I'm trying. I can't.
He's been, high or low most of the,
Yeah. We do, in addition to those conferences, we also try to go to every free one that we can get our hands on. TEEX and A&M put some on. I go to regional meetings at TCOG, and I went to one at TCOG in Dallas last week. So we try to get those free ones that don't cost us a registration fee. But, yeah, those conferences, that's all the professional development we get.
he offered up $500. I say we run with it.
Roll with it.
Go.
Thank you.
I mean, he just gets $500.
That's the advantage of being here, by the
Yeah.
way.
Well,
What we got next? 5.
hang on. We didn't ever solidify Brandy, did we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'll
Down
take
to
$2,000
6.
off.
Okay, I'm good with
We
it.
can do 1,500 to,
It's 510.
510, how about 50? 510, I'm just
What's 510?
courthouse. Which,
Maintenance.
Maintenance?
So
You
what-
got $400.
yeah, I think we can move on.
All right.
what would they do for that, though?
It
That's
goes to
their
the-
THC Historical Commission.
Yeah.
He goes and gets the latest guidance. Now we're down to, that's all of EMS next. And There's
There's
probably
all
under,
training, right?
yeah.
Better hurry, my battery's dying.
Your
You need-
battery or your computer?
Fire marshals, we've already done that one.
Hang on, EMS,
Theirs is all under 429 Training Academy. They have $8,000.
and see, they hadn't spent but 2,000.
Well, and then they have 432 under training. I think they put on a training academy,
Yeah.
and then they had go to training under 432 is $14,000.
So their academy is what we do for their training in-house, in the room, and then the other one is for
When they go.
going to conferences,
Uh-huh.
getting
But-
extra.
But they've spent their training money, but they haven't spent academy money. See, they spent 13 out of 14 in training, but then in academy money, they've budgeted 8 and spent 2.
Yeah, but that's for if they need to buy a new mannequin in that training room or a new type system. That's
But-
for their deals they do for a ship. but-
That's like when emergency management puts on CPR classes.
Right,
They
that's
do
where that comes up.
I'm just saying that one item doesn't look like it's getting used, is what I'm saying. I'm looking at the academy, 429, it's got 8,000. We spent $2,091. And then you look at training, which is 14,000, and they have spent that money in the past. That's what I was looking at. And I'm not hung up one way or another. I'm just saying we got to set a tax rate on that too.
Well, we move that to,
Yeah,
well, maybe move it to 5.
I don't
See, I don't
know.
know
You
if
know
he's
more
got
about
something.
EMS than we do.
Like I say, if they have to buy a mannequin or something.
That wouldn't come out.
That wouldn't that'd come out of your training academy, not your
That's just,
That would
conference.
come out of 457 or
457.
570, depending on how much it is.
But you see what I'm looking at?
yeah.
I mean, if there's any history there, what was it, Shelley? Can you take me back a year and what they do in 21 or whatever?
In 21, they spent $34.99.
Yeah. Like I said, the most they've ever spent is 2,091. So,
Bump it down to 3,
let's go 4, just in
4,000, cut it in
case.
half,
Yeah.
line item 429.
I'm good.
Fire marshal we already did, correct?
Yes.
JP,
No.
Constable.
constable precinct 1,
And see,
he shows none.
well, that's because when he goes, he gets it paid.
Okay.
The conference room and board and everything.
Constable precinct 2,
Well, they also have their liaison.
Yeah. And now, I'm looking at it, what are you showing in 459 for?
For ammo,
Yeah.
I thought you cut it to 400.
It should be 450, I'm just confirming.
I have 450.
Okay. All right, now we're JP4 constable?
2.
Oh, yeah, still says 4 on my sheet,
Constable 2.
even though we don't.
he has none.
Yeah, okay. But now, Shelley, when you go down to line item 55 up, it's still showing total constable precinct 4 is the reason I said that. 2 lines below the total.
Because it won't,
I mean, I get we changed it, but you just do that to mess with my head. I'm old.
no, because I deleted all the lines, but it won't delete that total line.
Okay.
So we put printing it. I can go ahead and see if I can get rid of it.
No, it's fine. I just glanced and said 4, but
So sheriff's department, showing 7,000, had 6. Most I'm showing is 4,000.
see,
That's the conference for the sheriff and the chief, and then the next line is training at schools, 429.
Yeah.
and the thing about that for this year, and one reason I know he bumped it up, there's some mandated courses now. The alert course,
Right.
every police officer maintaining their license now has to go through alert. Well, it turns into a time crunch deal because school started, so they probably going to have to go out of town to get the training.
Okay.
So that's where that is. I can't speak to the rest of it, but that's,
So we don't want to mess with him.
you might mess with him, but I don't know if you mess with him on training right now.
All right. What about jail for conference expense?
That usually is the jail administrator that goes to the jail conference. I don't know with having a new jail administrator if there's
Some extra stuff. they
extra
need.
stuff that they have to go to.
I can't speak to that side of the house.
We might let that one set till next time, see what it does.
Because they had 7,500 budgeted.
For training.
6,500 budgeted for a conference, and they've changed it to 9,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Next one's juvenile probation, which we don't deal with one way or another. It is what it is. Right?
Well, they got 5,000 on conference and training.
You know juvenile probation?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't,
What's the number?
and see, but they, we,
Oh, we passed the judge.
yeah,
He put 3,000 in to send an officer to the jail management and mental health conference.
okay. Juvenile probation, they asked for 5,000, they spent 5,300 last year, 5,100.
5,300 is their budget.
Or is their budget, they spent 5,100, they spent 4,900, so,
That's pretty tight.
yeah. We are moving right along
So
to
we're past.
highway patrol, we don't do highway patrol. Courthouse security, conference.
Think bring that back down to 3.
What number are we at?
You're on 581, 427, yeah.
590.
You're what? 590, 590.
581.
I'm looking 581. But,
Oh,
The
sorry,
account number.
that's back here.
581, 427.
427.
I think bring that back down to 3,000. He hadn't used more than 2,100, 2,200.
I'm not seeing that on 427.
What? Did I move?
Man, they
Here
use
it
that
is.
kind of ammunition.
581,
2,000.
427.
Okay, I was on the account number. You're on 5.
God dang, that's a lot.
All right, where we at, guys?
581, leave it.
So we're going to K-9?
Yeah, y'all saying leave, you took conference expense down to 3,000, right?
On courthouse security?
Okay, all right, so now then, 582 don't count, 590 is septic, 1,500 is probably fair, he hadn't been using it, but
Why you say 582 don't count?
I didn't see a conference line in
That's
582.
training.
It's 429 training, it's $2,800, and it's got a new dog. I would think it might probably even go up.
Well, that's probably a good catch. I just looked under conference.
Yeah, do we have to buy the dog in there too?
He's getting some help, no, not out of that, I wouldn't
Yeah.
think.
He's buying the dog out of his forfeiture money.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's getting some donations too for
Yeah.
that, but
I mean, raise that one up to $4,000.
I moved it to 5.
Okay.
okay.
Septic? 1,500?
Hang on, you caught up, Shelley?
Yeah.
Okay. 590?
590, 427?
Hadn't used any.
I'd drop him to 1,000.
1,000.
He may have to come back and get it, but he
That'd be
can
all right.
explain to us why. We got nothing in septic. I'm sorry, subdivisions and development, we got nothing. Do we have any need? Anybody know anything?
No.
Do we want to put some in subdivisions just in case we ever get something she could go to? Do you think she needs it?
If we need to, we can go do it
We always
come
do a
back
budget
and get it.
amendment.
We have to.
All right. Wildfire. Is that it?
Nope,
Oh, there's one. What's that?
one hiding, oh, the library.
Library.
And we cut hers 1,500 already.
And didn't we cut it last year too to get it down to
But
that?
wait a second, she's at 4,500, she spent 43, 37, 46, so yeah. She asked for 6,000, and we cut it to 45
Right.
Okay.
early on.
She's
Okay,
pretty close to where,
yeah,
unless something else come in.
yeah, she's,
All right, what else? 427.
I'm down to 665.
So 427 on that's mileage for 4-H agent.
Yeah, and she hadn't been using that. 1,900's the most she's used.
Yeah, we bring that down to 3,000.
I think so. Be my thinking.
Yep.
And what about the 426?
Well, we don't have a 4-H agent now.
Right.
He spent 3,400 when we had one. Oh, hang on. Are y'all looking at 428 or 429?
Well, there's 425, 426, and 427.
Oh, yeah, they're all,
They're all inflated a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but
well, but they usually don't do it for budget. They usually don't do budget amendments out of it either, do they, Shelley?
Yes.
They do? So we need to probably be curious of what they're using their fund for.
When their conferences run over, or,
Well, that's what we're addressing is conferences, so,
I mean, yeah.
so we need to,
any refund back from the state on any of that?
Only judicial.
Okay.
but if they're, even if they're using it for, if they're taking budget amendments out of it, they're still just, most they've ever spent, one of them's 1,900, one of them's 1,300, one of them's 1,500. I think
None
that,
of it's been used.
yeah, I think 426, you cut it, leave it at 1,500, all right? On 426.
Where's 426?
I'm looking at 665, 426 mileage HE,
That's Comac.
okay? And most she's ever spent is 1,300. Then the 4-H agent, most they've ever spent's 1,900. I'd cut that back to about 2,500.
The 4-H agent has, oh, that's conference. That's pretty close.
That's a huge budget.
We got about $10,000-12,000 tied up right there in travel.
Are you cutting the ag agent?
Oh, I'm in the wrong. How did I get?
665.
Yeah, I got knocked down somehow.
Okay, guys, let's go back up, just so we stay focused. 665, 425, it was 5,000, that's the guy that, it's vacant right now, but they've spent $2,000. And if they get back, I don't know if they'll have them for a full year. What if we take them to about $3,000?
Yep.
Okay, the next one is 2,500. This past year, they were 1,500. They've never spent more than 1,300. How much you want to cut it?
15.
Take it back to 15?
Yep.
Okay. Then I'm down to 4-H agent, which is ask for 4. Never spent more than 19.
3.
Okay. You got it, Shelley? You with me? Conference AG agent, 2,500, never, well, there's 1 year they spent 3,300. 1 year they spent 1,900.
I'd leave that one. Probably gonna go back next year.
So now we're down to what, 429
Yeah.
conference for the HE?
Yeah.
See, what's interesting, they got the mileage and then they turn around and got conference. So,
Gotta drive to it.
huh?
They gotta drive to it. They use their own cars, that's where that comes in.
Well, if they drive, if they're going to a conference, the mileage is in conference. If they're driving
Just around here.
around here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that next one, Gary's fine.
See, that one on 429, they budgeted 3,500, and they dropped it to 2,500 for
Yeah.
conference, even though 1 year they had 3,400 that they
Yeah.
spent. So, y'all want to leave them, hang on, go down to, 4-H agent, 430. 1 year they spent 2,030. I'd cut that to $2,000 and let them, if they need to take some somewhere else to fund it, they could.
665, 430, 2,000.
Yeah. Is that it, Shelley?
did you cut 28 and 29?
All we cut was, no, but we did cut 30.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna have to add $1,000 each to the county attorney and district attorney's liability insurance.
Okay.
I think it went
Doesn't
up,
sound like that's an option.
went up to 5,400 or something like that. I'll have to check.
Is that your motion on the travel then?
Yeah, I make a motion, we cut the, or adjust the travel as discussed.
And I'll second that. Did you get that,
And
Pam?
also, on the county attorney's budget, I don't. He requested $400 in ammo. I put the line in, but I didn't put the money. Do you remember saying yes or no to ammo?
Yeah, that's 400 for 2 people, which is, seems to be about the going number. But y'all, federal ammo for the county attorney? 2 investigators?
Well, are they gonna get that second investigator funded again?
I don't have a reason to believe they won't.
Y'all authorized them to apply for the grants today. so-
Right.
No, whatever, yeah, don't have it right now. We might cut it next year if they lose them.
Plan for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think right now we gotta assume they're gonna be here. All right, we done travel,
We never voted,
on travel. Oh, I made a motion.
And I second that.
Okay.
but we just didn't vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. 5-0, Pam.
Okay, so, sheriff's office, what y'all do on FTO, civil deputy and all that stuff? Like I said, first time we talked about it, we didn't have any issues with that. We had issues with the raise. But the FTO stipends and stuff like that, the first time we talked, we said, hey, we get that, but we didn't vote because the raises and we didn't know what the cost of the vehicles are gonna be.
The FTOs are in the jail, and that's $1,433 a year. And the civil deputy to a sergeant is $4,560 a year.
I know several times people said they don't want to do special raises.
That's a little different than special raises. FTO, that's stipend money.
Well, we haven't decided on 3%, have we?
We have not.
Why
It's
not?
hard to imagine doing a 3% and position raises.
Another option on the raises would be not to do the elected officials.
Exactly.
I won't take a raise no matter what. And I don't want to interrupt whatever you got going on. No, I need to add an employee on my budget. That just means I gotta rob money from other stuff.
In addition to the other one?
She added one for you, didn't she? How many people would you
Did that
like?
come to you through Elizabeth? Okay, then we're good there. I had asked her the amount, I didn't know if it got back to you yet.
Nice try.
And you guys are running with 10? Matt, are you running with 10?
Got 8 right now, but
10 or 11?
do I?
10 or 11? How
You
many,
get 12.
you're fixing to get
I
12?
just got 8.
What have I budgeted for, 9?
Come on, Papa, catch up.
I tell you what, I know is every time you add an employee, it costs a lot more money to operate.
Has
More
everybody
rock.
That do take out on me.
As everybody noticed on
Last 2
Gainesville
weeks.
Chatter this week, I'm gonna put two guys just doing trees.
Did you take that picture, or they screenshot that?
What?
Of me asleep?
They screenshotted that from the video.
I see, you just commented on it, huh?
Oh, I laughed at it.
I thought it was a good picture.
It was very flattering of you.
I thought I might use it in my next campaign.
I think you slept about
What else
4
we
hours
got?
that day.
They didn't catch you?
I'm sitting here on the,
Not yet?
are we gonna do the sheriff stuff and the raise? That's where we're at.
Yeah, that's exactly what
I'm
we're.
ready to eat.
I show you have 9 precinct 4. 9 positions, you have 2 open as of the date on this.
That'd take you to
There's that
11?
too that took out this last couple of weeks.
I show precinct 3 has 11. I show precinct 2 has 9. I show precinct 1 has 10.
I'm budgeted for 10?
I show you have 3 open.
Okay.
I show precinct 2 is full except for the new one. Precinct 3 is full except for the new, you added one. And precinct 4, I show as 2 is open, but you got 2 more open.
So the one I asked to add is added, so that put me at 11.
Yes.
All right, so we're,
Okay, are the way I see it, we have 3 options. We can either do the position raises,
that's just 4 people, 3, 4, 5 people on that one.
well,
Yeah,
the sheriff's office.
okay.
We can do 3% across the board, or we can do 3% across the board without elected officials getting a raise. Now,
When we do that, what happens is we get,
You got your employees making, well, you got employees right now making more than your commissioners, lots of employees.
and that's what we got into,
And then we end up,
well, before I got in here, and it was like,
what I was gonna say, if you do 3% across the board, and just blanket 3% across the board, I don't believe there's anything that says what an elected official has to do with his raise. You
Well, they
take
can decline
you
it,
can
deny it, whatever they want to do, but
decline
You have
it,
to keep
deny
the-
it, but it,
The next commissioner would track up to that amount, you know.
well, maybe, maybe not.
So let's have the hard conversation. With the financial state that we're in and where we're gonna head again next year, how do y'all feel about raises? I wanna give a raise, 100%, I want to. I know that people need it, but can we?
well, I've said from the very beginning, that's one of the 4 or 5 things that I wanted to do, was to do that, so.
I understand.
And if we do it, like
How are
I
we
say,
Excuse me.
I'd like for it to be across the board where nobody has a problem with that. And then individually, elected officials can do what they want to with their, they don't have to make a big deal out of it. They don't have to say, well, I didn't take mine, or.
Can,
It'd be posted, it'd be posted.
It'll
in
be
paper.
posted, sure, but it doesn't have to say.
as far as the sheriff's, that won't work. I was gonna say, can the sheriff use some of his jail income to do that, but then that creates a mess when that goes away.
Yeah.
It's not like a grant, it's a different deal.
Yeah, jail didn't get SB 22 money anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, he's making,
But again, the problem there is retention. I mean, we're not having trouble keeping people in the other offices, but you're having trouble at dispatch. That's the first face they're gonna hear or see,
I don't-
but
I don't think anybody ever says we don't have a problem keeping people in other offices.
okay.
well,
I mean,
And we're starting-
turnover is, anyway.
it's definitely the highest one. We're struggling it. The EMS.
As far as
has gotten a little-
vacancies.
EMS has
got
gotten
a little better,
quieter. But, you know, I mean, we're dealing with the same thing in EMS too for a long time.
You got 3 vacancies.
The jail did get SB 22.
Did they get 22? You got 3 vacancies in dispatch, so.
I'm like Jason, though, you're gonna have to fund it, and where's it gonna come from? It's gonna come out of our,
Why don't you take it out of House Bill 22 and pay them like you did the others?
dispatch can't.
Can't.
You can't. And again, guys, are we talking the sheriff now, or are we talking overall? What was the raise, $330-some thousand?
Yeah.
Tell you that insurance for 350 hit us hard too.
320, about 320 for insurance and 320 for a raise.
I know that we're not supposed to look at every single aspect of county business as a business. But if your business, if Walmart was having to go into their savings to fund their budget this year, their employees aren't getting a raise. You know, it's,
Shelley, how much?
We've never had a balanced budget since I've been here.
has it ever been this extreme?
We laid off 1 year.
Well, all we did, we cut the part-time people.
No,
We
we cut a
cut
bailiff and stuff
We
out.
cut 3 positions my
Yeah.
first year,
Well, that was
in
the,
2009.
that was the, mostly part-time people.
With the,
Those were full-timers.
with the way things, costs have rapidly gone up, I just feel like, I mean, if we look at the numbers, like next year, it'll be real tight.
Let me, what did we ended up netting $1,098,000 in new revenues, right? Or gross.
Fund balance dropped between 22 and 23,
By,
$1 million and something.
okay, so instead of dropping about, we were projecting 4 and 5 million, and it dropped by $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad as we thought.
That's not as bad as we thought. But that, part of that's because we had an increase in interest rates and what we had in the bank, and then we didn't spend everything that we budgeted. So, you know, I'm the biggest pusher of, hey, let's quit depleting fund balance. So, we depleted it by $1 million last year. This year, we've got $1,098,000 in revenues, and we spent $900,000 of that. I can come up with that quick. well, 300,000 on, insurance, 500,000 on FEMA, and then we spent 600-some thousand, we really wasn't, well, it's not true, we spent 160,000 that wasn't anticipated on radio. So we've spent that, so we're kind of net zero there on revenues. So-
Right before all these changes, right now, we're 5.5 coming out of fund balance for a balanced budget.
For a balanced budget, which we haven't run on,
We've never, since I've been here, we never
yeah,
have.
but how much of an increase is that over last year? In other words, are we running a 5.5 million deficit, or are we running a 3.3 million deficit?
Last year was 4.5.
Oh, so we went up $1 million deficit this year with them, and you've got the million revenues in there. So it's a $2 million swing this year.
Why did we go up? It's a good question.
Well, part of the reason we went up is we had ARPA money funding salaries, I believe, that we had to come back and fund whenever that. So it wasn't because of Prosperity Bank building, Judge.
Why would you even bring that up?
Because I know the man.
For this year, we did 5.7.
So we went from 4.5 to
For
5.7.
23, it was 7.5.
Well, it wasn't all ARPA though that, and salaries that did that. What else contributed mightily to that?
Insurance rates jumped,
Okay, there's two things.
that's 10%. The tornado, 500,000.
That's not,
That wasn't originally in the,
no.
at the very beginning. 4.5 was what I had initially for this coming year.
Tornado would make that, what, 5.0 or whatever then, instead of 4.5 if you,
No, because that's in this year's budget.
that's, well,
But it's not included in any of these numbers because it was
Okay.
something brand new. And I used, I budgeted the revenue and the expense out of, what we're gonna get back from FEMA, and then moved the 500,000 from waste station to cover the difference.
okay.
So I didn't take any, no new money added, no new money coming in.
Okay.
So it's a zero. Did you hear me, Gary? I had 4.5 on initially when we first started working on the budget.
Okay.
And so 23 was 7.5, 7.5.
We decreased it by 7.5.
No.
Oh,
23 was, to balance the budget was 7.5.
okay.
24 was 5.7. So for this next year, I got 5.5 without all the changes in it.
Which we improved it by a couple $100,000. Am I moving the wrong direction?
I wouldn't call it couple of 100,000.
Well, I mean, what do y'all think?
I think we study on it, bring it back on the next budget deal. We don't have to do that today on it.
I thought we did. Don't we have to post something by,
You got elected officials postings that have to be done?
It's all right, it's in the paper.
Oh, you post them with 3% raise.
I did it before the proposed.
I did it.
I gave it to them, it's gonna be posted on Wednesday.
That's with
With
3%
the
raise.
Because that's what y'all
Yeah.
proposed.
So you'll find out if you get any feedback.
Do what?
You'll find out if you get any feedback.
If we have to repost it, then you have to propose, you have to conduct another public hearing.
But if we go down, we don't have to.
You
If we
change
don't
it.
do we don't have to.
I think,
Come on, pull it out,
It's
pull it
only
out,
for
come on.
increase.
Huh?
yeah, but I think it has to be closer to what you're gonna make.
Regardless.
Because if set at 50 and you only get 45, then it's showing that you could go up to 50.
Oh, yeah, or the, yeah.
So you have to run another notice.
And the people that think you're making more money than you make it.
Right now, I'm showing you cut
If it went out,
40,000 out.
We cut 40,000, that ain't bad.
Well, and then I've got to add some, so.
Is that
Back to
the
it.
travel?
So we still got $80,000 out there in travel, $75,000, $80,000 out there in travel.
Kind of an unfunded mandate.
No, it's not. We're still pretty tolerant.
It's a requirement you have to have.
Yeah. But Shelley, we don't have to, this was an exercise to tweak our budget, but we don't have to vote on it until,
No, you're voting on it on the 9th, the next court.
and we could change it then.
If you're going to pull the raises out, you need to do it now so we can change the posting in the paper.
Yeah.
Pressure.
That was the next question. It hadn't been in the paper yet. You just sent it to the paper.
I just sent it, I sent it last week,
Yeah, but they have,
but
they've already printed them.
they might have, at noon was probably cut off.
I thought it was Friday.
Well, I've already seen more stuff this morning, and he was fine
We doing Gainesville or weekly
weekly,
on that one? So their drop dead is Monday,
today at noon.
today at noon, okay.
which is
Yeah.
fast.
If I could be a voice for the employees, I would say, leave the raise in.
Yes.
Repeat that,
I
please.
would too.
If I could be a voice for the employees, I would say, leave the raise in. Food's more expensive, gas is more expensive, school clothes are more expensive. If you have dependent huh?
Food and groceries about double since last year. I mean,
If you have dependent insurance, it increased with our increases.
And elected officials can do what they want to with their,
Yes.
Well, no, they can't all take it and distribute it to their employees.
No, you can return it, you can't give it, you can't,
He can do that as the judge. He can, but all of us can't redistribute our,
no, if you return it back to the county, if you don't want to accept it.
okay, but now, Sarah,
increase.
we talked about where he could redistribute his to his admin.
Well, yeah, he can do that.
Yeah, but everybody can't do that. Anyway,
I mean, I'm just trying to think ahead. I'm gonna make the right decision, whatever. I mean, I'm listening to y'all. I'm not,
well, I'll make the motion that we pass the 3% raise. There it is. It's out there.
To approve the 3% raise, is that what you said? I couldn't hardly hear you.
3%.
That's without any special raise, that's just.
That's no special raises,
No
that's just
special
across the
raises,
board,
just straight across.
3%.
So to fund last,
Everybody's treated equal.
so to fund the budget last year, we pulled,
Well, between 20, hang on. So for 22, to balance the budget was 9.5. And between, and on 23, it was 7.5. So between those two fiscal years, fund balance dropped $1,000,001. Actual drop, not 9.5, not 7.5, but actually dropped $1,000,001.
okay. But it seemed like we pulled 5 million out of savings to make that work. So you're saying at the end
Well,
of that
to have a
time,
balanced budget, we have to show that we're pulling $5.5 million from fund balance.
But with revenues and all the departments not spending what they have allotted, you're saying it only changed $1 million and something at the end of the year?
In actual.
What are we on pace to do for this year?
Well,
I know you have that in there, but
5.581 right now, plus or minus about $40,000. So it's not going to go down a whole lot. So for 24, to balance the budget, we're at 5.7. For 25, we're showing 5.5. And this is with dropping the contingency budget from $2 million down to $500,000. That's why 22's to balance the budget was 9.5.
because we had 2 million in contingency.
We had $2 million in contingency. We dropped that down to 5.
And how much of that contingency money have we spent?
This year,
Mm-hmm.
We hit it 3 times?
Hmm?
We hit it 3 times?
Not near like we have.
We used it like a soapbox a couple of years.
See, I thought we hit it more than we thought we did, but
You know, she corrected me because I thought we'd only hit it a couple of times. She corrected me.
this year we're, as of August the 12th, we are down 160,000.
That's the best we've done since I've been here.
Yeah, right now the budget is 341,000 from 500.
I'm proud of that number.
Spending your 2 million the year before.
Huh?
The hell of a change, spending close to 2 million the year before.
but we actually
In
budgeted
20
it, we didn't spend it, right?
And, yes, in 22? Yes, we did.
Down there to all contingency.
I guess the number that's hard for me to grasp is that we're having to pull so much from savings to fund it, but then at the end, we're just really not, we're changing the fund balance, but not anywhere near that $5 million mark.
That's why we gotta get tighter on our number.
Yeah, and that's,
It's like the conference is out, I mean, that was 40,000. Well, you know, office supplies, if you started sitting there nitpicking every one of them things.
oh yeah, and I
mean,
agree.
fuel and. well,
What I
you
want to
can
do
get
next year
Tighter,
is
but.
challenge everybody to do that before they bring it to the judge for the first meeting.
Well, what,
Always, we just, when they come in with budget and to pull money out of them, we need to really make sure it needs to be done, you know, I mean,
well, you got to control budget amendments. What we heard too in our last training is before next year's budget, this body decides, what do we want to spend our money on? Employees, infrastructure, benefits, and then we have a meeting before the judges' meeting and tell all of them, this is what the court's priorities is. If you're not on board, don't bring me additional spending. That way, everybody heard it from the court. You know, if it's not personnel increases or whatever it is, infrastructure, what do we think we need to spend our money on, the best interest of the taxpayer?
And also, one of the things you could do is limit what's bought the month of September.
Yeah, because folks have money in their budget, they go off and expend it. And something we probably should look at is if somebody loses an employee, they have to come back and justify that employee. Because what we got happening now is they lose an employee, and that employee been here several years and making X amount of dollars. We're gonna take and hire somebody off the street at something that's gives us an anomaly. It's not proportionate. So,
Well, there's a motion on the floor.
There is a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
If it's straight across 3%, no special raises, I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Sicking. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0, 3% across the board. Item number 16, executive session will not be necessary. We will not go into executive session. Item number 17.
Motion.
to adjourn.
Oh,
Second.
that's 18. Go.
I didn't see a breakfast.
you're gonna leave your computer?
Didn't even get to say it. Doggone it.
Efficiency.
Okay, did we